What software do you use to track and organize your research? Miro or Miro. Do you want to have a quick look at my last? I go through this properly on I don't want to update. I go through this properly on my Patreon. Like I talk you all the way through it, but oh fuck! I keep honestly Streamlabs. I keep moving my entire screen on you. This is not useful. But yeah, this was my body language one. I properly go through like all of this, but this is a completely free program, and it's really useful. I'm not going to go through all of this now. It literally takes me on my Patreon. I made a video that was literally like 90 minutes long, talking people through all of this. So shout out the Patreon. You can get access to that on any tier you want, but this is like a quick look at it. You can if you just copy and paste like a YouTube link, then it like puts it on there and it's like embeddable on there and it does it automatically, which is really cool. And you can just use it as a big scribble board of everything. And if you go down like a random rabbit hole tangent like I did with the AI machines, as you can see here, like random rabbit holes about the TSA, like Paul Ekman sending me down the rabbit hole about the TSA, and then the AI machines. Like you can see how it all sort of like happened. And then this was the tangent about Ekman's Truth Wizards and that Truth Wizard who's selling courses. JCS came up kind of separately, so JCS is on its own up there. But yeah, that's what I use. And like that thread through the middle there is the basic like structure that I had in mind for the video originally. And then what I did was I got a Google Doc together and made notes of everything, but like put it into an order of what I wanted the video, like the order that I wanted the video to be in. And then I wrote the actual script from those notes. So I didn't write the script directly from this, but this was like extremely helpful into like for me to like get a proper structure and everything. So yeah, if you want to see me talk through that, then it's on the Patreon. But yeah. So yeah, can't wait to get another one of those made up. Fall down a million rabbit holes again. Yeah, that'll be fun. Anyway, let's check out this video. I've I got one of my... Why am I going out of focus? Ah! Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna check out this. One of my mods has basically looked through it all and said it was pretty bad. So how much disk space does your videos take? Quite a lot. I do have a Mac Mini which has a terabyte of internal space, so I can fit the whole thing while I'm working on it on the Mac Mini itself, which is quite easy. But then I have like a large 10 terabyte hard drive which I then back up everything onto when I'm done with it and get rid of it all and then start on the next thing. I record in 4K as well, which makes things even worse for myself. But I like the crispy 4K-ness. So yeah. Anyway. Are you using frames on Miro? I find it useful that the titles stay big when you zoom out. I don't know what you mean by frames. YouTube will spare you if they remove 4K for free users. Are they thinking of doing that? For like, so 4K is only available for premium? I don't want them to do that. I think I think it would be silly of them to do that because I think they make way less money out of premium right now than they do out of advertising. So to take that away, like there's a lot of people out there that don't want to pay for YouTube. So because what YouTube Premium's not profitable for them. Well, YouTube as a whole is not profitable. Like a lot of like huge tech companies, they're playing an extremely long game, and YouTube's actually never made any money. Miro frames zones off an area in a Miro board on the menu bit on the side. Oh, I still don't think I use this thing properly because, hang on a minute. Because like I literally just throw things on here, and I probably don't use half of the features that I could be using because like I've seen other people's Miro boards and like they look really like cool and professional and stuff, whereas I haven't got time for like aesthetics when I'm doing shit like this, so I just like throw stuff on here, and it's just like this is just like a picture of my brain, and everything's like full of tangents and rabbit holes, and it's messy. Are any of the big tech companies actually profitable? I'm not sure. I've not really looked into that, but I know that Google have never made YouTube actually profitable because it's in their interests to actually. It's more important for them to actually just use it to harvest people's data. So that is basically what YouTube is for. So you can give Google an idea of what you're interested in so they can advertise at you. They don't actually make a profit out of YouTube. Yeah, I don't think Twitter did either. Because it's like they're playing the very long game of like get people to use this as much as possible. But now like Elon Musk has taken over and he's like, I want this to actually like make money, but he's like completely fucked everything up, hasn't he? Like he's just gone completely like the guy he just like literally thinks he can do anything, and he's messed up. I read a good thread about this earlier. Where is it? Here it is. Let's review. Musk went on a bender and offered to buy Twitter at a price based on a weed meme. Then he agreed to a binding agreement to purchase it. Apparently, he didn't fully grasp how binding it was. Then he tried to get out of the deal. Twitter sued to force him to purchase the company. He was losing in court and decided to give up. He was forced to buy the company. Today, he's firing half the company's employees. Advertisers are leaving in droves after 1 week. He spent the last 3 days posting passive-aggressive tweets about his new subscription program that, if successful, would raise maybe 5% of the current revenue. Also, he's loaded the company with $1 billion of annual debt service. Musk needs to sign up 10 million subscribers to Twitter Blue to cover the debt service fees. This morning, 1 week in, he's reduced to this. Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue due to activist groups pressuring advertisers, even though nothing has changed with content moderation, and we did everything we could to appease the activists. Extremely messed up. They're going to destroy free speech in America. Like, he's trying to sort of make it seem like all of the advertisers are like, ooh, we don't like Elon's free speech idea, therefore we're all going. Whereas in reality, I think that they're scared to put their money into Twitter now when he's just obviously clearly messing everything up, and he's like just going on a tweet rampage about making changes to the website that would clearly not benefit the website at all. But no, he's a tech genius, of course. He's literally the dumbest billionaire ever. Like, but that's capitalism for you. The dumbest people make it to the top out of sheer luck, and then loads of people look up to that person like they're some kind of genius. Right. You guys sending me off on Musk tangents. Oh, right. I'm gonna have to. Ooh! This beer's a bit lively. Yeah. Elon Musk is the embodiment of meritocracy, is a myth. Sorry, Jordan Peterson. All right, let's have a look at this. I think we need to pour a beer before we get into this, though. Whoa! Okay. Oh my god. Wow, that was close. It's like over the top of the glass. That was really close, that one. No FOMO. Very FOMO. At the end of the stream last week, I pulled off a potentiometer on my base by accident, and it's still just sat there on my desk. I still haven't bothered to put it back on. Right. Yeah, the moon cup. Shall I test it as an actual moon cup? No, I won't. It is the right time of month for me to do that, but no. Right.
Well, I just put it.
We are starting this. I haven't watched it, by the way. I had to skip through it. Not on stream. I had to skip through this, and but I've not watched any of it really. But yeah, apparently it's pretty bad.
All right, we're here. We're live.
Are they going to destroy me with facts and logic? I highly doubt it. I wonder how many empirical studies are cited in this.
How is everybody doing? Spidey is Rictus. Chase Hughes, the legendary member of the behavior panel, is with us. And Chase, I know I've told this story before. A lot of people don't know this, but you are the reason I have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Specifically this channel.
Yeah.
Now,
I did come across this guy's channel when I was doing my research because he's actually... what is this thumbnail as well, by the way? He's actually interviewed... can we search his channel? Aldit Vrij. That is how you say his name, I believe. Aldit Vrij. He actually interviewed
anti-polygraph
him, and he's like he's the only man on this channel. This is the only video on this channel that's worth watching. He's like, this guy is like the first guy that I shouted out in my sources document, and he's if you're not on my Instagram, I put up a story about him, because basically I when I was doing my research, I did email him because I don't know, I just thought I'd ask him a few questions, but he's sort of a very professional professor, and he was like, I only communicate through articles, and he sent me like that that 2019 annual review, which I think is the first thing in my sources document, which I found very useful. But yeah, he didn't like sort of talk to me directly. He was just like, look at this article. This is all I want to say. I think because like a lot of professors, because I said in my email, oh, I'm a YouTuber. This is a YouTube investigation into like deception detection. And I think a lot of like professors, if they hear the word YouTuber or like YouTube, they're like, okay, not for me. And he was probably the same, which I don't blame at all. So I was like, cool, you only want to communicate via articles. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, he didn't like help me directly, but he did send me that one annual review, which is for free online anyway. You can find it online anyway, but it is very useful. And yeah, after I'd done my video, I sent it over to him. I was like, hey, it's doing really well. And then like a few days later, he said he'd had the chance to watch it, and he was going to show it to his freaking he was going to send it to like some of his like colleagues and his PhD students. Like, I was like, fucking hell, like that makes all of this like fucking worth it. Like there's probably ways that I could do YouTube that like would make me like, you know, more money, you know, like I could just sort of go, you know, down the grift angle and be like, and just, you know, just upload videos that are like, fucking TikTok conservative did this, and like, you know, do very surface level shit and probably get a lot of views still and whatever. Sometimes I watch shit like that as well, like no shame in it, but the fact that I sort of like did that work, like, and he got back to me and said that he wanted to show it to his PhD students, like all of a sudden I just felt like all of like everything I like did was worth it. Like I was actually, it made me feel like I was actually sort of making a really positive change in the world, because like they're the people who like go on to actually make a difference in the world, and like they affect, like, you know, obviously like in the future how police are gonna interrogate people and all of that. And because obviously, like as I said in my video, there's loads of like issues with how that's done at the minute, and police are allowed to sort of use their instincts way too much, and body language heavily comes into that, and that's why a hell of a lot of like neurodivergent people like end up in prison and stuff like that. So I just like felt like when he said that he was going to show my video to his PhD student, I was like, I'm making a real difference in the world. I just like really just celebrated at that moment. I was just like, that just makes everything like really worth it. So anyway, so yeah, so this is the only video that I'd like really watched on his channel because he interviewed him, and in this video he sort of like talks about how baselining is like, it only really works slightly if it's in a very controlled environment, and obviously you never really have a controlled enough environment to properly baseline someone, especially if you're just a YouTuber watching some people like on a video. You can never baseline someone doing that. It's just absolute bullshit. And it's like extremely hard to do, like just in any situation. So it's like basically useless to try and baseline someone's body language. So he talks about that in this, and he talks about like Lie to Me, and how sort of like non-verbal cues are like that kind of like sensationalist idea of reading body language is like so much easier to get on TV because it like looks like a sort of superpower, and it like looks really exciting, like, ooh, I can like read these like secret little cues, and that makes me sort of like, it's like I'm speaking a language that you don't even realize that you're speaking to me. And it's like, it's bullshit, but it gets on TV because it's exciting, and that's the whole sort of like premise that Lie to Me was built around. So he talks a bit about that as well. He also talks about a specific study he did, which revealed that that people, if you like, it's like people are racist, but with body language cues. Like even if someone's like talking to someone with the same race, if that person like uses body language cues that are like typical of a different race, then that would make that person appear less credible to the person observing them. And he did a study which found that. So like, it's like people aren't only looking at, you know, skin color and being racist. They're also sort of like looking at body language cues and sort of thinking either consciously or subconsciously, oh, that person has body language cues of like a black person or whatever. And that makes them like appear less credible to the like observer. So so that's interesting, but yeah. Anyway, slight tangent, but yeah. So so there's a few things that Aldit says in this interview where like this guy Eric is like, oh well, that's quite different from like what I've heard before, because like on his channel he normally like interviews like the grifters from the grifters from from the body language community. Basically, they're all the ones that sort of don't really talk about things that are backed up by science, and like Aldit is basically the only one who is talking from the point of view of science. So yeah. Do you time these streams for NA time? What's NA time? North America time. I'm just sort of like, I guess I kind of do. Oh, thank you. I guess I kind of do, but at the same time, like I quite like streaming this late anyway, because then I've got an excuse to like have a beer while I'm streaming. If it would feel a little bit wrong if I was just like drinking beer in the middle of the day, and I like to drink a beer while I'm streaming. So I like doing it this late anyway. And I am a bit of a night owl. I generally sort of stay up quite late anyway. So what do you call really cute music software? Door. Ah, lovely. Thank you for that lovely joke. Anyway. Less tangents. But no, that was a really nice story. So I wanted to tell you about that.
In order to give my guests some pause, in November,
Eric, can you just put Jason the
yeah, having a beer in the middle of the day is quintessentially British, especially if you're drinking like an ale in a Wetherspoons and you're an old man. Yeah.
bottom left corner is throwing me off. Can you just switch him with you? I can't even look at him up there. What is he doing up there?
This is like the behavior panel. People get so mad when I have them on. They're like, "You got the."
Oh, you came here from Super Eye Patch Wolf retweeting my video. I was so excited when he retweeted my video because I watched his video. I only found out about him when he did his video on influencer courses, and I was just like, I loved that video so much. I can probably like relate to it a little bit more than most people because I am like a YouTuber myself, but those courses they'd always annoyed me, people who sell courses on how to do well on YouTube. It's such bullshit. Like you never know what the algorithm's going to do and what it's going to push, you know? It's just like anyway. And the whole like second half about sort of like hitting 1 million and how that felt and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah, I binged his channel after I watched that, and then when he retweeted my video, I sent him a DM like, thank you so much. I loved your influencer courses video so much. And then we had a little bit of a chat after that about sort of like scammers and like capitalism and how capitalism like breeds these sort of scammers and stuff like that. And it was, yeah, we just exchanged a few DMs. He's a really nice guy. So yeah, that's cool. That was a cool little thing that happened as well. Anyway.
Order wrong. Stop it. Stop it. You're killing me.
It's not Scott Rouse. Put him in the bottom left corner of this.
I know. Here. If it makes you feel better. Okay, there. So what am I? So no, here. I'm Greg Hartley now.
Yes, I like it.
And here's Scott Rouse.
Get on with it,
If
boys.
you were to switch me and Rob, there we go. We're good.
There we go.
In Canada.
Okay. Anyway, November of 2019, Chase reached out to me and said, "Hey man, let's do a video together." and I was like, Chase, I don't do that. Chase, I'm a podcaster. Chase, I have a face for radio. And then what was it you told me? Or do you remember?
I have no idea.
You're like, yeah, no, dude. We'll get some wine, and we'll just I'll come over and we'll get some wine, and we'll just do a video together. And then the day finally came, and he wound up training, I think, at Fort Bragg or something. And I was like, dodged the bullet. But in January of 2020, I was like, everybody's talking about this live streaming thing.
Is this whole preamble just about, I thought I'd try this live stream thing?
a hold of StreamYard, brought you on the show, and thought, well, you know what? Chase has got a huge following. I guess I could do this. I don't have to do a ton of research ahead of time. We did it. Everybody's amazing. Show went perfectly. And that started the channel. I thought, hey, this is going to be the easiest thing ever. All I have to do is do a show, have the right guest. People are going to show up. I'll just respond to the chat. No problem. So I had Viva Fry the very next week. And about 4 or 5 people showed up. And nobody said anything in the chat. And I found out I have to actually work to do this. But the channel was launched because Chase Hughes wanted to have a video and some wine.
And some wine, which we never got.
No, we haven't got that. One of the biggest ironies is that Chase and I live near one another in the same general metropolitan area. And I think we've only seen each other once.
Hello.
Yeah, probably, maybe twice. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's some Just for Men going on around here for sure. For sure. It's like, it's darker than this area.
It's easier to go to the computer and turn it on and just meet up online.
Is that what you call it around the world, or is there a different name for men's hair dye? Which I'm pretty sure is the exact same formula, by the way, but here they call it Just for Men. Because it's special hair dye, which is only for men. In the US, it's just for men as well, is it?
But welcome to it.
Sharpie.
Okay, so today, I know Chase isn't completely thrilled about the subject. I'm not sure that Spidey is either. Rob will have fun with it. But there is a video that came out a few weeks back, and it led into another video. Now, I'm not going to go over the first video very much,
So the first video, I think, is my video. And it's like, I think they properly, like, they don't react to the whole thing. But I think they properly skip over it, to be honest. But like, I'm kind of interested to hear what they say about it anyway. But I don't think they get into depth about what I say.
A basic, very, very the start of that video to just give a vibe of the video, and then I'm going to go into the second video, which I find much more interesting in many ways.
Is that the sound goats make?
And the first video is done by a YouTuber named Mooncat.
Woo!
And to her credit, she's a talented editor. Put together, a compelling video.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
It is amusing at points.
Oh, at points. I'm amusing at points. Oh.
Bits and pieces of it. I thought it was great. She really did her research. Really
supported her points
really well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely always want to give credit where it is due. She puts a lot of work into it. I think she does like one every few months, so it's not a common thing. But
I have no idea what's going on.
He's downloaded it. He's not even watching it on YouTube. He's fucking downloaded it to his Google Drive, so I don't get that extra view. Eric?
Me neither.
Oh, you'll figure it out as we go. This is the fun part. By the way, a theme of Thursdays is Surprise Rob.
Always.
So.
Hello, I'm Butch Dieselsteak, and now I'm a newsreader.
I can't watch myself.
The YouTuber Mooncat is involved in a scandal wherein her 2 cats have called the police after alleged repeated incidents of her pulling the skin back on their faces until they look like rabid ferrets and taking pictures for her own sick entertainment value. This has led to them calling the police for repeated feline rights violations. And because this is a high-interest, ongoing news event on a 24-hour
But like, this
news
girl's
channel,
not funny.
we've repeated everything we know about the case 47 times, so give a warm welcome to our body language expert. Talk, say words. Well, as we can see from this footage, Mooncat is showing signs of disgust, and you can actually tell this from the crinkle in her forehead, possibly because the press have been outside her home all day, but I'll let your cognitive bias decide. Also, she seems to be increasing her intake of beer to cope, but
Yes,
would you
I
look at
am right
that?
now.
Who pours their beer like that? Now that can be a sign of sociopathy. You know how the saying goes, that's why her beer
They
is
hate
so
me.
big.
They hate me.
It's full of secrets. You see, body language is not an exact science, but it is backed up by my personal opinion and empirically proven pseudoscience. Over to our weather correspondent while I go and jump off a cliff.
Is that all? Is that all he's
Body
gonna
language
show?
experts. They've annoyed me for some time.
All right.
Is that all he's gonna
So
show?
that was the intro to what I
I
have
love
to
how
say.
she burns. I love how she burns something that's opinion based, and then starts her video by saying that we've annoyed her for some time.
Yeah, you have,
Therefore,
bitch.
body language is no good.
Yes. And she continues with a 90-minute video.
Yes.
So
Wow.
Yes, I
saw bits
did.
of it. I hadn't seen that
90
part. I saw
minutes?
bits and pieces of
It
it.
is
which I thought were
90.
really well researched, and that was pretty much everything I knew about it.
Wait, what did he say then?
She continues with a 90-minute video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I
it
only
is-
saw bits of it. I hadn't seen that
90
part. I
minutes?
saw bits and pieces of
It
it.
is
Oh, so Spidey's not even watched the whole thing. He's only seen bits of it.
a
Which I thought were
90.
really well researched, and that was pretty much
He heard that it was well researched, and that was about it. Okay.
everything I knew about it.
It is very, very, very. It is well researched, but
Thank you, Eric.
with a definite conclusion in mind.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, like I never try and say that my videos are scientific studies in themselves. I run a commentary YouTube channel, and I am going to plop my opinions in of things because I run a commentary YouTube channel, you know? It's like and as I point out in the video, humans are all intrinsically biased, me included. So it's like at the start of the video, I am being very open by telling you my bias. And if you'd watched my previous videos, you'd know that I was biased anyway. So it's not like I'm trying to lie and say, "Oh, I'm coming at this from a completely neutral perspective." Obviously I wasn't, and barely anybody would be. But like if I'd like come to this, if I'd started researching this video and I'd found that there was actually some evidence behind what they were saying and there wasn't so much like fucking bullshit going on, I probably just wouldn't have even made the video and like let them be. But because when I started looking into it, it went so much deeper than just like shaky science. It got so much deeper than that I just couldn't not make the video, because I just realized how fucking deep it went, and like how incredibly shaky. Like I was expecting it to be a bit shaky, but I didn't realize how fucking incredibly shaky the ground is that they're standing on. Like they're like stood on a perpetual science earthquake, and I don't know how they're like teetering on the edge of a big crack and falling through it at all times constantly. And then when it got so deep to the point where you realize actually how dangerous it is, because the people watching these videos are then going to go into like workplaces, you know, possibly be in HR departments, or possibly like go on to juries, and there's also people out there watching JCS and not even questioning what JCS is saying at all. It was when I sort of like realized all of that and how much old white men it seems to be in this community are just so good at being able to make people just believe what they say, because they sit there and they say, I've done this before. Anyway, rant over. Sorry.
And that is one of the dangers I always worry about when doing things. Rob, well, I mean, as a lawyer, that's kind of your job in a way, right? Is you're going to be arguing from a conclusion where you're trying to prove a case from the start. You know the results, but it's not necessarily a good scientific exploration.
No, in science, you never really want to begin with your conclusion. But
again, I never said my YouTube video was a scientific study. I never said that.
I mean, I haven't seen the video. I have opinions. I pulled something up that I'll show her a little bit later.
Did he say he's not seen the so none of these people have even watched the whole video, and they're giving their and they're giving their opinion on it. Like none of them have watched it. He's just shown them the opening skit and the bit where I say they've annoyed me for some time, and I think is that all he shows? Yeah, and then I think he moves on to this other video. It's just such bull. They're so scared to actually respond to my actual video. Like, they could have responded to the whole thing if they wanted to.
Oh.
My internet keeps dropping. I don't know why. Am I freezing? Or
no,
am
you're not freezing.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Now, what I brought everyone in to talk about, though, is oddly enough, there was a reaction to Mooncat from, I would call him a major.
Yeah, so like they've already stopped talking about my fucking video. But like, let's just gloss over that. Let's just gloss over that and go on to some other guy's response in in the body language community. Now, this guy is called Derek Van Shake. You will recognize him from my video. I might watch the video in and of itself first. But come on, guys. Like, if you really wanted to do a rebut, you could have rebutted my whole video if you really wanted to. You could have tried. But obviously you didn't want to. But this video, I have seen this video before. This is the one that they start talking about next. And to be honest, I wasn't going to sort of put him on blast because, like, to be honest, I don't even know why he made this video. Like, he could have just pretended I don't exist and he would have been absolutely fine. Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I didn't really want to put him on blast. It's only got 832 views. It's on his tiny little, like, podcast channel. And, like, he's on his main channel. He's got, like, over 500,000 subscribers. And that was the channel which I took clips from. Derek Van Shake. He's got 586k on his main channel. Where he's still uploading body language videos, but they're not like doing amazingly. So I believe what he mainly does these days is make TikToks, which he talks about in this video a bit. What behavioral red flags did Johnny Depp ignore with anyway, jeez, look at that fucking thumbnail. But anyway, this is his actual channel that I used clips from. But he responded to me on his like smaller podcast channel, and this video just kind of like, honestly, I don't want to put him on blast, but like, I don't know.
My clip
Let me just show you.
taken out of context to support something that I never did. Welcome back to the Shake Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Van Shake, and of course we don't have a co-host. Still looking for one of those. If you have been following me on any of my other social media, either my main channel or Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere else, you would know that I have been posting quite a bit of short videos. Are really not specific to body language at all. I've kind of moved away, not completely, but just kind of.
I wonder what he's doing on TikTok. What you doing, my man? What you doing on TikTok? Criminal psychology sounds basically like the same thing.
What's the psychology of why Philadelphia fans are so arrogant and ruthless? I grew up outside New York City, but occasionally a Philly would stumble into our little town, and everyone would be forced to hear how Philly's teams are not mediocre, but actually the best in every sport. I'm sure many of you.
What? This one did quite well. Oh, it's about Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh god.
Did Jeffrey Dahmer's neighbor actually eat the sandwich in real life?
I have not watched the Netflix documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer, so I don't know a lot about him still. I might watch it one day. Should I not watch it? Is it not worth watching? It's quite good. I'm getting I'm getting conflicting accounts from chat.
In the Netflix series, Glenda Cleveland was supposedly his next-door neighbor who complained about the odd occurrences and smells coming from Jeffrey's apartment, which got him an eviction notice. A suspenseful moment in the series was when Jeffrey visits Glenda with a sandwich he made for her. He pushes her to eat it, but she refuses and refuses.
I don't know what's in there.
However, did this actually happen? And if it did happen, did his neighbor actually eat the sandwich? Glenda Cleveland was not Jeffrey's neighbor. Glenda actually lived in a neighboring apartment building. However, his real-life neighbor was Pamela Bass. In real life,
I mean,
Jeffrey
it looks like this content is doing all right for him. Like probably better than his definitely better than his YouTube, I suppose.
made a sandwich for Pamela with some
I don't
mystery
really
meat
know
in it, and she
what
in
it's
fact
for, but
ate it.
I've eaten a sandwich
guess.
from you. I have probably eaten someone's body part. How dare you?
Cannibals are sometimes curious to know what other people think of how it tastes. When police raided Jeffrey's apartment, they found no traditional food, only beer. Did Jeffrey Dahmer...
Oh no! Oh shit! That's what you'd find if you raided my house. I've been eating people. Oh shit! Am I Jeffrey Dahmer? Oh fuck! Oh no! Because my friend Charlie, she's been calling me Jeffrey Dahmer because of these glasses that I wear. She says I wear serial killer glasses, which these glasses are quite serial killery. And she calls me Jeffrey Dahmer when I wear them. And now she's got another reason to call me Jeffrey Dahmer. Because we're both beer bros. Unfortunately, I'm vegan, so that might be the opposite of being a cannibal. Possibly. Is there like a spectrum of diets? Vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, cannibal. That's the spectrum. I don't know. So what's it like? So like, what were the like? What were the insights on that? I don't know, man.
The world is mourning the queen.
Oh, like he's still talking about body language on. Oh no, what's he What true grief looks like.
Never forget what
Oh
true
no,
grief looks
what's
like.
this?
Yes, former North Korean dictator Kim Jong-il was so beloved that people lined the streets for miles to throw uncontrollable fits of grief.
I mean, they'd probably get killed if they didn't do that, right? And their entire families would go into gulags, right?
Okay, yeah, they were all faking it because they didn't want to be reported to the government as defectors. Breaking down their body language, they were all dry crying because we don't see actual tears. There's massive exaggeration. Many even brought handkerchiefs to conceal their facial expressions. And I love how even the outnumbered line guards were in on it, knowing full well that the mob of people could easily push through them, but they knew they wouldn't since they were all pretending. Subscribe and follow for more body language investigations and behavior.
Was that it? Very insightful. Anyway, this video is just okay.
I don't know. The way I like to say it and like to think of it is just matured a bit. And I'll still, of course, always be interested in behavioral stuff, you know, with body language and analyzing things, breaking things down, trying to come to the truth and investigating. That's never going to change. It's just that I have been noticing that I can't compete with liars. Okay. I mean, quite frankly, I just can't compete with liars, you know, just people who put out videos and just saying whatever you want to hear and just pointing out some bull crap about their body language and just.
I've watched his videos and compared them to other body language channels, and he says the exact same stuff. He just copies what the other people say. So I don't really know what his point is. Like, I don't know how he can sort of prove that he doesn't lie and the rest of them do.
Confirming your already previously held beliefs. I can't do that, and I can't do that with a solid conscience. The point is that I feel like as a creator, I have matured past solely body language and similar things like that, and moved to other more interesting things that require a little more education. So there's a video that came out by
He's basically doing this. What things that what I don't understand. Okay.
by a young lady named Mule Cat.
Oh yeah, throughout this whole thing, he calls me Mule Cat. Mule Cat. You know, like a mule and a cat. Mule Cat. I wonder if like that. Mule Cat. That's what he calls me. Are there any other relevant images I can find for Mule Cat? No. If you just type in Mule Cat. Oh no, that's showing results for me. I've never Googled imaged myself. Who's this? Wow, exciting. It's me. No, I want to search for actual Mule Cat. No. There are no Mule Cats on the internet.
Kind of like an investigative channel she is. Mule Cat with a few 100,000
Oh, he said it right then, but then after this he goes back to saying Mule Cat.
subscribers, and she gets quite a few views for every video. And I noticed that she puts out like a video every like 3 months, does some kind of big investigation and does that. And most of her videos get several 100,000 views because she spends, 3 months on the thing. So it's kind of her 3 months worth of work that you see. So we're going to watch her expose of all of her body language channels, including yours truly that she included. And we are going to react and see what we think of her analysis that she claims she has done here.
Personal opinion and empirically proven pseudoscience. Over to our weather correspondent while I go and jump off a cliff.
She's the type of person who you meet and you kind of say, oh, You have a cat, don't you?
Or Brooklyn here gets it.
There's nothing wrong with having a cat. But
So-
there's maybe something wrong if the only thing that wants to be around you is cats.
Yes. Yes. You could tell that from watching this video, could you? That the only living being that can stand being around me is my cats. Yep. I have 0 friends. I only have my cats. Love that. I made no personal attacks against you, Derek. 0. 0 personal attacks against you.
Body language experts. They've annoyed me for some time.
I agree. Some body language experts are quite annoying. There's always a happy medium of when something is too much, it becomes not very good anymore. I think there's way too many body language experts now.
Girls facing the world instead of facing.
He's blocked out the word pussy. You can say you're like 3 minutes 12 into the video, Derek. You don't have to block out the word pussy anymore. Pussy!
Way too many body language experts now.
Girls facing the world instead of facing her man.
What does it mean if the triangle is green?
She's a little weird.
Yeah!
I mean,
I'm so quirky, guys. Derek thinks I'm quirky. I'm not like other girls. I'm weird.
maybe I should break down her body language. I wonder
Please do.
if she would like that. What do you think her body language says right here? She's standing up without pants on, apparently.
I was wearing shorts under that shirt. I know you can't really see, but I was wearing both pants and shorts. But yes, that is true body language analysis right there, and analyzing that someone's wearing no pants. Therefore, she's weird.
And either a long shirt or a weird muumuu dress that she's wearing.
I'm sorry about the ad breaks. I don't know if I can control them. Oh, and that's another thing I need to Google, because I don't want to make like. It might be better if I ran them, but I don't know if there's a way that I can run them, because then I can be like, okay, and that's starting now, and then I can just sort of like talk to the subscribers for a second and then wait for everybody else to come back. If there's a way I can control them, I might I might do that instead.
And she's pointing to her between leg region. Yeah.
And now
You got 6 ads. You just got 6 ads in a row. No, surely not. That's ridiculous. No. Okay. I'll have a look into it before I do another stream. I don't want people to be looking at 6 fucking ads. Fucking hell, Bezos.
To her between leg region. Yeah.
and now they're all over the only website.
Oh, there I am, right there.
He's so excited when he sees himself pop up on this video.
I'm famous, guys. I'm famous.
On the internet, youtube.com.
So, Believing Bruce, the behavioral arts, Derek Van Shake, yours truly. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
She decided to feature me.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, I
The
did.
behavior
Yeah.
panel, Observe. Looks like Ghost is in there. The guy's in there. And I've never seen this guy over here.
While we sit on the sofa, our brains slowly turning into
It's me with no pants again.
a mushy paste.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's turning into a mushy paste. Me listening to her.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
He's turning into a mushy paste watching me. Does that? I wonder what that means. Mm?
It's a little drawn out. And if you think this is drawn out, later on gets completely drawn out with just some
So I don't know why I don't know why he says this, but like, obviously I'm like I get incredibly annoyed at myself when I make long videos. Like, I know people say that they like them, but my videos are the length that they are because they literally need to be that length. Like, the literal last thing I want to do is pad out a video to make it longer. What I would absolutely love to be able to do is to get a video out that's like under an hour. But I just find so much shit to talk about every fucking time that I'm like, I literally can't help but have this like 90 minutes long. You want them longer? So like he sort of like comes to this conclusion in this video that I'm padding shit out to make it longer to get more like mid-roll ads. And it's like, that literally could not be further from the truth. If I could get shorter videos out more often, I fucking would. But I fall down so many fucking rabbit holes. Like, I find out about fucking AI machines that are trying to read fucking micro expressions that are based on no fucking scientific evidence that the EU have spent 50 fucking million euros on. And I'm like, I have to say this. I have to fucking tell people. It's going to add another 10 minutes, 20 minutes onto the end of my video, but I'm going to have to fucking talk about it. I can't not talk about this. And he just thinks that I'm sat there like, how can I add another half an hour? How can I add another hour onto this video? Like, that's what he thinks that I'm doing. It's just exactly the opposite of that. It's insane. The thing is, it's also pointless making a video that's long if you're incapable of getting people to watch the whole thing, because you don't get paid for the mid-roll ads that people don't watch because they've fucked off before they've watched the whole thing. And also, if you don't get a lot of watch time on a video, then the algorithm's just not going to push it on YouTube anyway, and you won't get a lot of views. So like, if you see a video on YouTube with a lot of views, it means it's getting pushed out to people because A, people are clicking on it because of the title and thumbnail, and B, people are watching a large percentage of it. Like, they're watching a lot of mid-roll ads on that video, and they're getting at least quite close to the end of that video. If a video's got a lot of views, you know those two things. But he's like, oh, she's padding it out. And like, I bet, like, it gets so drawn out towards the end. I bet no one's watching it. It's just cope. This whole thing is like such cope. And I feel like it's sort of like projection a bit. I don't want to psychoanalyze him or anything, but
crap that she just throws in there because she's just trying to make a lot of money off of a long form video and trying to make as much money as possible because this is her quarterly, ability to pay her rent.
Yeah.
So she has to make a very long form video.
Yes. Yeah,
and
you got that exactly
the more
right.
she gets paid. They start out okay and it's kind of interesting, and if you're kind of on board with it, it kind of works. But then it just dies so quickly. Her watch time towards the end must be like 10%.
Oh, yeah,
Don't worry,
yeah,
we're going to
sure,
fast forward
yeah,
through a lot
sure.
of this and clip the heck out of this.
But yeah. Let's not watch the whole thing, guys. Let's skip over a lot of the video, shall we?
Rather observe clusters of cues to deception, which allows them to weave any narrative they like.
There is the possibility of people doing that, and that's what I think some people are doing nowadays. I think some people...
He doesn't have under 5K subscribers. This is his podcast channel. On his main channel, he has I think we just had a look. It was like 586,000 or something like that. He's got more than me.
People are just figuring out whatever you want to hear and just, pointing out some things on her face and being like, oh, well, there you go. You all don't like Amber Heard, right? So here you go. Point some things out. See, it's fake because you didn't see some tears rolling down her left eye enough. You can make up anything. And that's the reality. And that's what I really hate about body language, is that you can get some people that are just going to say whatever you want to hear and just lie to you, frankly, because they can just confirm whatever you already want to know and already want to hear. So,
oh yeah, there isn't even comments on this. Like, he has comments switched on every other video on this channel, but he switched them off on this video for some reason.
What Mule Cat is saying here.
Mule Cat.
And I have no idea what her name is at this point. We're just going to call her anything that comes to mind.
Okay, cool.
What Mule Cat is saying isn't completely wrong. That if there's confirmation bias, and you can just say to
Yeah, don't go to this guy, guys, and please just don't. I didn't want to put this guy on blast, but like at the same time, he could have just not made this video, and he could have just like it would have been fine. Because like my audience and the audiences of everybody in the body language community are like, we're not the same. Like our audiences, I assume, don't cross over at all. I think maybe a tiny little bit, because I've had a few people in my comments being like, oh, I watch those channels. But like, I think the crossover is pretty fucking small. Like that Venn diagram is just like 2 circles just doing a little like kiss, like mwah, mwah. But like that's it. So like me and these creators can just sort of carry on with our lives, not having to interact with each other ever, and it will be fine, So like he never had to do this. He never had to make this video. He could have just pretended I didn't exist and moved on with his life. But no, he had to make this, and I wasn't going to put him on blast. I was just going to ignore it, but now, because this other video is talking about it, it's like I'm kind of having to sort of like show you it. The worst bit about this though is the thumbnail. Hang on. Let me go to a YouTube thumbnail downloader. Thumbnail downloader. Because this thumbnail is the most epic part. Where do I... Oh, there we go. Just look at the thumbnail of this video. We've got soy face, but hands over the mouth soy face. And I'm being analysed here. Look, what's my hair saying? What's my right eye saying? What is each crease of my mouth saying on either side? What's this part of my face saying? What's this cheek saying? And what's this lip saying? You have to give him credit for that. There was work put into that. Oh dear.
People whatever they already want to hear, and they're going to want to hear it. But to say that all body language is completely bullshit is just wrong. And here's the other thing. To do body language right is more than just to look at the behavior, but to also analyze the verbals and to analyze the speech and assess what they are actually saying, to piece together the subject's words to the facts. That really has a major impact on how accurate you can be, is really pulling it all together. And what she's talking about is just mostly just the behavioral side. Oh, well, look, she did this and she pointed to her hair and she had, she was crying and everything like this, as opposed to also pay attention to her speech.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, he's basically saying, oh, like she only talks about how the body language, the visual part of it is bullshit. But like I do point out towards the end of the video that the only thing that has truly sort of like empirical evidence around it that gives like extremely high, like amazing results for lie detection, which comes to there's a study that I cite in my sources document, which is just one study, but it comes out with like people detected lies correctly about 97% of the time. And that was through the method of when people are actually interacting with people, so like active questioning and putting in like unexpected questions to the liar, and also making them like recant the story backwards and stuff like that. So all of these things involve a person actually interacting with the person that they're observing. So basically, I do point that out towards the end of the video, that there is a way of doing this, but it involves you interacting with the person directly. And it has nothing to do with just observing a video of someone. And I also point out that people who observe videos of people, it actually makes their lie detection skills worse than when they just listen to the audio and they listen to what the person's saying. I do point that out in the video, but obviously, like, he's not gonna like sit there and watch the whole thing and rebut that. So
to use everything in concert to be able to have an idea of what's going on and to figure out the truth.
Or they'll watch retrospective cases in which they already know the outcome of an event and then sit there postulating about how they would have seen the warning signs.
And she points out the retrospective of, oh, well, Chris Watts, you know, everyone looks at Chris Watts and they'll say that, oh, you should have known because look what he's doing. Yeah, there's some of that where you have the retrospective bias and you already know the outcome, so you're able to say it. But at the same time, I was making body language videos before he came out and confirmed that he was guilty and confirmed that he did it all. I called that out early on before he came out as guilty. I guess she's showing the behavior.
I think a lot of people were very suspicious of Chris Watts. Like, it wasn't just him. And, like, the police know to do this. Like, the first, when you have a case of somebody missing, specifically if it's a woman and children, the first person that the police will go to is the spouse, the closest like sort of like love interest, whoever they are, of that person. That's the first person that you investigate in every sort of case like that. So it's like he wasn't the only person who was like, oh, it was probably Chris. Like, the fucking police were thinking that as well. Like,
behavioral panel here, which I've never seen any of their videos, but yeah, if you look at their backgrounds, they're not very impressive. And here's another thing to always know and always remember. The FBI...
So he's never watched any of their videos, but he's done research on the background of all of these guys. Okay.
FBI will never hire anybody who has not graduated from college. And you usually have to go to a pretty good college too. You can't just, you know, take all your college courses from your mom's basement.
This is my favorite thing. Like, yeah, when I investigate communities on YouTube, like, that are full of just grifters, they always, like, fucking bitch about each other. Constantly, like, I'm the only one telling the truth, guys. The rest of they're the frauds. Those ones over there. I'm the only one telling the truth. There's always a lot of that.
Basement, and expect to get into the FBI.
Spotting facial emotions is critical to understand people's behavior and their attitudes to you, because you want to know if they are being sincere or maybe don't have the best intentions in mind.
This song's from, like, Epidemic Sound, and I just fucking love it. It's the song that PewDiePie uses on his videos when he sells something.
And that's why I created my complete guide to facial expressions.
So with this guy, I actually had no idea that this was the body language guy. I heard of this guy one time. I don't watch any of these channels. I watch none of them because they're just...
I love putting music on my videos. I always have the best time when I'm, like, choosing the tracks to put underneath each section. I just sit there at my computer like...
Some of them are unbearable. They're really bad. But his name's the body language guy, and he looks at basically pictures and evaluates body language just based on pictures, which is nearly impossible and has
you're
such
right.
a low accuracy that it's kind of a joke.
How is it possible that these two pictures were taken in less than 24 hours apart?
Maybe he does other things, but just to analyze a picture is just a joke. You can't analyze.
How do I find music for my videos? I have a subscription to Epidemic Sound, and they have a really good search function where you can search by like mood, genre, just like loads of stuff, whether you want vocals or not. And I just sort of like go through playing different tracks and like having a little dance and picking my favorite one and then putting that one on.
A picture. Come on. You can't do that. There's so many things that could be going on. I've always felt that people talk about psychopaths very far removed. Oh, here I am, guys.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Don't really even understand what exactly a psychopath is or how they act or what their body language is or anything. The whole idea in this video is to pull all the evidence together so you can easily see their psychopathic body language, behavior, and tendencies so you can more easily identify a psychopath in your own life.
Oh!
And now in the comments, what famous person do you think is a psychopath? Let everyone know in the comments below.
He's still got it, guys. He's still got it.
Could have called out that I actually said Jeffrey Dahmer's name as Jeffrey Dahmer in that video, which was pretty embarrassing, you know. But she didn't. So thank you, Mooncat.
That's fine. You're welcome.
The video that I made about ways to avoid gaslighting and manipulation, the tools that gaslighters use, and how you can counter those tools. Very important stuff. All in the description.
Oh, Spidey, this guy, and that guy is some other guy.
Love it.
He used to be a magician, like an actual magician on like America's Got Talent, and would do card tricks and you know, a bunch of these kind of deceptive things that are just kind of stupid. Apparently, he didn't go too far in America's Got Talent, and then he made a YouTube channel. And I remember stumbling upon some of his card tricks, and I remember looking at his card.
I wonder if we can check out. I never actually looked up his. Like, I knew he was a magician, but I wonder. I never watched any of his stuff. Okay, here's a clip of him.
Get back to the competition. Our next act is hoping his performance will earn him a place in tonight's.
Oh, he's got another channel called Spidey Hypnosis. I never knew about that.
Time to get back to
The cards never lie. So, like, I wonder if he does better with his, like, body language stuff. What's it called? Behavioral arts. Behavioral arts. Yeah, he does, like...
What's going on?
He doesn't really upload very much to this channel anymore. I think he does a bit better out of this stuff. Yeah, he does. Look, that one got 1.4 million, where he's analysing the body language of the royal family walking down a fucking road for 2 seconds. Gosh. Imagine just making 50-minute video about 4 members of the royal family walking down a fucking road, guys. 1.4 million views. I'm not going crazy at all.
The public, it's very much something she does to sort of calm herself down. You also see those confirmation glances.
Idiot spends 3 months finding everything that she can about crypto and NFTs and how they scam people and how it's all based in sort of like, you know, fascist ideas around money and how blockchain technology can't work. Idiot! 3 months. Idiot! To get 1.5 million views on that video so far. Idiot! What I could have done was taken one video of 4 members of the royal family walking down a fucking road and made a 50-minute video about it where I just talked shit about it with some guy. I got the same fucking amount of views in a month. Idiot! I am an idiot. Why aren't I doing this?
When we look at Meghan, in fact, let me ask you another question. Who does Meghan most reflect in this snapshot in time? If you look at everyone else that's in this, framed in this...
I do wonder what the retention rate is on this video, though. Because if people are clicking out of this video maybe like about, 2 minutes in, which do you think they are, guys? Do you think they're clicking out of the video and not going all the way to the end? Because, well,
In this
but that amount of views would suggest that they're not.
picture,
I
who
don't
else
know.
does Megan look like? Who is she most similar to? And I think a lot of people might not have noticed this, but if you look at the aide who is actually standing on the far side of the screen next to the vehicle in a very submissive pose, she's there with her feet are right close together, her hands are down, covering her lower part of the body. She's in a very submissive pose. I mean, that's her role. She is trying to be out of the way. She's trying to be on hand if she's needed, but she's trying to be invisible in that point in time. In fact, if you look at Megan, she's very similar. She's standing back. She's taking things in. You don't see a confident posure at this point in time. So I think it's it's interesting to look at those two figures who are in the whole shot. They're the ones that are trying to make themselves small, work out what's going on. And I think that's very much the case here with Megan when she gets out.
David, I think that's a really great point. And for context, a lot of the viewers may not know this, but this visit wasn't planned.
Nearly
so
1.5.
Harry and Meghan were supposed to come at a different time with American media, but at the last minute, William said, no, scratch that, you're coming with us. And I wasn't there for that conversation. I don't know how forceful it was, if it was like a demand or a request, but this is very possible. We're seeing in Meghan's body language, a sense of not really being sure like of where she belongs in this, because at the last minute she was asked to show up. So I think what you noted is perfectly valid, and she might be just sort of trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? What are we doing? This wasn't her plan. She's not leading this plan. So that makes perfect sense to me. You were also telling me some amazing stuff about what we're seeing with Kate. So let's...
Right, so guys, starting next week, we're gonna be the Mooncat channel is having a rebrand. It's gonna become the Mooncat Meghan Markle Body Language Analysis channel. Okay? And then about a month later, I'm going to buy my mansion. Okay? My mansion. My moonshun. The moonshun. No. No. My video is being shown to PhD students, guys. PhD students. A fucking class of doctorate students is watching my video. Okay? So that makes it all fine. That makes it all worth it.
Big vote.
My name is Spidey. I'm 32 years old. I'm from Montreal, Canada, and I am a mentalist.
A mentalist.
I'm focusing on telekinesis. Telekinesis is the illusion that we can move things with our minds. I just really hope that it's gonna go well. We all know that this crowd can be very unforgiving if the slightest thing goes wrong.
From Montreal, Canada, here's Spidey.
I don't want to do just well tonight. I want to take my act all the way to the finale.
Hey, Spidey, how you doing?
How you doing, Mr. Harvey? It's an honor.
Great, great, great. So you're a mentalist and a magician?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what you're gonna do tonight?
Well, yeah, there's a bit of a story about what I'm going to do tonight, if you'd care to hear it.
Yeah, we want to hear it. It's a story.
It's a quick thing.
Wait, hold up. I asked for the story because sometimes I want to hear the background behind it. I just want to hear a little background. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Steve Harvey is the fucking worst, isn't he? I've never seen this show. Showtime at the Apollo.
Okay, go ahead.
So a year ago, I was reading a book. It's a New York Times bestseller called Act Like a Success, Think Like a Success, which was written by Mr. Steve Harvey.
See, this story good already. See how good this story is? Man, this is a good story.
There was a chapter about visualizing.
You should tell Steve Harvey the story of evolution. Then that would fucking blow his mind.
And the power of your imagination, a quote that said, "Your imagination is everything." I custom wrote this piece based on those words.
Okay, well, you ready to go?
I certainly am.
Y'all show your love for Spidey.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Harvey, would you mind helping me with this?
Oh!
Mr. Harvey, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start with something strange. I've got two items over here, a fork and a spoon, solid metal. Can you verify those and please make sure that they are indeed solid metal? Good? No, I got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, they're real.
Okay, and Mr. Harvey, totally up to you. Would you like to start with the fork or the spoon? Your call.
Spoon, okay.
You want the spoon? You get the spoon, I'll get the fork. Would you mind having a seat, please? Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
And hold on to the top of the bag like that. You've got the spoon, I've got the fork. I'm gonna try something strange with this fork. Check out the fork. If I just give that fork a wiggle, just like this. Now that is a solid metal fork, you verified that.
Yeah.
But if I do this right, you guys are going to see that fork beginning
Oh my god.
to bend. Do you see that? How it's bent down?
He just did a Uri Geller. He just did a fucking Uri Geller. Do you guys know who Uri Geller is? Uri fucking... He just did a Uri fucking Geller. But he did it... He did it with spoons, didn't he? Yeah, Uri Geller did it with spoons most of the time. But if it's a fork, it's original. This is But right, interesting fact about our very own Uri Geller. He convinced the CIA that he was a psychic warrior through this random study that the CIA did. Like, that's insane. Like, he literally convinced the CIA. Yeah, I believe I learned about this in a documentary. I can't remember what it was called. But they did some kind of study or test that was like really badly done, basically. And Uri Geller, who has spent his life just like rolling, like just trying to convince people. He managed to convince the fucking CIA through some really poorly done study that he actually had like superpowers. Anyway, a little bit of a Uri Geller lore there. It's very interesting. But I won't allow myself to go on this tangent. You can look that up in your own time.
Down the middle.
Yeah.
Now thank you so much. Now it's one thing for me to do it, but sir, you've been holding onto that bag with the spoon in there. I've not touched that. You wanted the spoon. Imagine in your mind, Mr. Harvey, that spoon going from a straight position to a bent position. Remember, your imagination is everything. Those are your words.
I would love to read The Men Who Stare at Goats, but that's I've never read that, but I'd love to read that. So I don't know.
And sir, if you did that right, as impossible as this is, take a look inside the bag, sir. Take a look.
Wait, I ain't been it yet.
Take a look. Go ahead. I don't want to touch it. Let's see how your imagination did. Go ahead. Inside his hand.
It looks like he's about to faint.
That is amazing. Mr. Harvey, amazing. Wow.
I'll be here all week, folks. Pin and spoon.
I now want to try something with
fuck?
everyone here, including Mrs. Adrienne Houghton. So let's make some noise. Thank you so much. Hi, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Beautiful.
Okay.
I want everyone to help you because I believe that our collective imagination can make miracles happen.
Yes.
So I'm going to put the spoon right here on the tip of this chair where Mr. Harvey was sitting. And I want the entire audience to believe in your minds that you can make that spoon move. We're all going to focus on that. I'm going to count to 3.
Ooh.
Will it to move. You guys can do this. Here we go. Watch the spoon. 1, 2. Focus on the spoon. Look at the spoon. 3. Will it to move. In your mind, make it move. Make it move. Oh my God, guys, what? Come on. What? Did you see that?
How was that?
Did you see it? It like the whole thing.
I'm
Like, look at it.
scared.
There's nothing. What was that? Apollo, thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Spidey. Thank you. Wow.
But then he realized that that didn't make him near enough money, so he decided to start up a body language analysis YouTube channel instead, guys. Man, we need to pay these mentalists more so that they don't do that. So that the mentalist to body language analyst pipeline is slashed and doesn't exist anymore. Okay.
Tricks and just the way he was presenting it, and I was like, you're kind of cringe, and guy, you gotta have a lot more improvement. I can't believe you're on America's Got Talent. Apparently he changed his channel name to now the Behavioral Arts, and now he like does deception detection, which he just, I don't know, just calling out bullshit that he just sees. I don't know, it's just so funny. This is a little bit of my little fuck you to the body language community.
Ooh, body language beef. Body language beef. We love a bit of body language beef.
Again, I believe in body language. I believe in, deception detection. I believe in all that, but you got to do it the right way. You got to pull it all together. You got to use it in conjunction with the evidence. Any kind of speech deception, physiological deception, behavioral
evidence,
deception,
Derek?
all of that, pulling it all together.
I looked at the evidence, Derek. I did. I looked at the evidence. It wasn't there.
Along with the evidence that is available, pulling it all together, and that's how you find out the truth. But simply just looking at a picture or a short clip and just looking at only the behavior, you're not going to be able to have a very good, accurate outcome and analysis of that situation, that individual. You're not. The more information you have, the more aspects you pull together, the more accurate you can be.
And it's actually an indicator of how much you get. Freud even
Can't-
said,
we
which
can't
is
say
probably why
pussy.
he didn't bother trying to hide the fact he wanted to fuck his own mum.
Or
How
fuck.
did she get away with saying that? I couldn't even suggest something like that, even as a joke.
What? At least, if you're not within like the first 30 seconds of a video, you can say pussy and you can say fuck, Derek, and you don't get demonetized. As long as there's nothing else going on in your video that would get you demonetized, you can make those kind of jokes on YouTube nowadays and not get demonetized. I don't know what he's talking about. You can say fuck and pussy. Fuck my pussy!
You know how badly I'll be shadow banned and demonetized? I'll be demonetized
No, you wouldn't.
for the rest of
Stop.
my life
You're
if I ever
lying
said
now.
something like that.
Is
No,
now
you
an
wouldn't.
acknowledged expert in the interpretation of body language.
We're going to be clipping the heck out of this podcast. But at this point, I am literally on TikTok as I'm half watching this. This is just so bad. It's so boring. How does she pay her rent?
Such a great
How do I pay my rent, guys? Clearly my videos are so boring that nobody's watching them. How do I pay my rent? You can't see the views on the videos. No. So I do wonder how I pay my rent. It's a fucking mystery.
community up in Santa Barbara. So
Oh my god, he's on he's scrolling through TikTok. Oh no! I'm so offended!
Vorderman, right now. Why won't you debate me? Are you scared of being steamrolled by my hard-to-swallow fact pills?
There's going to be a lot of pop Evo Psych in this video, and I'm going to get very angry about it.
To actually totally disregard evolutionary psychology.
Yeah, I do disregard it because it's all bullshit.
To say that there's no bearing at all. Just because you don't want to believe in it, Mule Cat, doesn't mean it doesn't.
I very much point out in the video and in my Manosphere video that there's no way that you can empirically prove evolutionary psychology because no one's got a fucking time machine and nobody can carry out studies for it. So people just make it up. I've already explained this, Derek. I've explained it before. I'm not just saying I don't believe in it because I don't like it. It's because you can't fucking prove it.
Doesn't exist. To actually say body language is bullshit and it's impossible to read body language accurately is basically to say I'm never going to ever use emojis ever again when I text people.
Okay, now he's comparing body language to using emojis in texts. Like I'm trying to say if you put a smiley face in a text, I'm just sat there looking at the text with a smiley face in it like, there is no empirical evidence behind this emoji that proves that you're actually happy right now. Therefore, what does this emoji really mean? There was no study that concluded that this emoji means that you're really happy when sending me this message. Therefore... I have neighbors. Whoops. See, this is one of the things that I never said in my video, and like a few people have said in my comments, which like I never like pointed it out in my video, but I thought it was pretty obvious. But like, I am not saying that like body language is not a thing. Like, clearly I'm putting across a message right now that I'm like frustrated with my body language. Like, clearly body language is a thing, but the only thing that I was trying to say in my video is that body language is used as a tool for communication, but it cannot be used as a tool for people to find out like when people are deceiving others. Body language is a tool that we use to put across messages to other people that we want to put across. And you can never use it to prove, you know, like a secret sort of emotion that someone's trying to hide. Is that was all I was trying to say in my video. Like, that you can't sort of use it as this like secret little thing that like you can only speak that language and you can read people through it and their hidden emotions. I never tried to say that. So like, obviously when you smile at someone, you're trying to show that you're happy and friendly and that you want to sort of, you know, get along with someone, for example. But what you can't do is show somehow that that person's really not happy or really hates you. That's the bit that's bullshit. Like, body language is a way that we communicate along with language in a very intentional way. He is a mushy paste at this point, so yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it's saying. You know? Because when you're looking at emojis, okay, you're looking at body language. It's all behavioral. So if someone sends you a frown emoji, you should text back and say, what do you mean by this emoji? And yes, some things are more difficult to call, but that's just the art of the field to try to tie everything together. And again, one thing that I don't like is when these so-called body language people, what they do is just, you know, don't really have much evidence of a real big bombshell type of informative piece of information they can give you, such as this person is lying.
So, like, this is all stuff that, like, if he actually watched, I don't think he watched the whole video, but this is all stuff that I, like, clearly cover, like either don't say or clearly cover in my video.
But are saying it anyway just because they know that's what you want to hear. But that doesn't mean that you should just throw out the baby with the bathwater and be like, hey, because you can't tell every situation, every single situation with 100% certainty, that means don't even bother, don't even bother, don't even bother, and it's all crap. That's not true.
It stood out and unnecessary.
I'll tell you what's unnecessary.
And what she's doing is making a compilation of the worst of body language.
And you're included in that, Derek?
Yes, there's a lot of bad body language reading. And yes, some people overextend themselves. Yes, and that's a problem. And
so
that's unfortunate for the field and the topic on YouTube. But it doesn't mean there's no good information to glean from someone's behavior, body language, speech, physiology.
There is very little to glean from someone's body language.
Movements. It doesn't mean that there's not good information to kind of pull all together to see what's really going on. And that's the part that she misses completely in her video. And, you know, hopefully this video pays her rent because, I don't know, she looks like she lives in her mom's basement or something.
Hey! I clearly live in my mum's basement, guys. That is not my front room, guys. That is my mum's basement. And this room that I'm in now, also my mum's basement, okay? He's clearly in his mum's basement, and he's very much projecting. And no, I'm not putting this... I didn't mean to put this guy on... Oh, shit. I just had so much fun responding to everything that he said. But no one's going to say anything to him about this stream, okay? Nobody is. No one's going to say anything to him about this stream. We're just having a little bit of fun, okay? I don't want anybody to go to him and say anything. Okay? All right?
TikTok is way more entertaining than this girl. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love this. He's like, he really, like, he prefers the, like, 30-second, like, videos on TikTok where he doesn't have to, like, pay attention to something for any more than a few seconds. Love that. Fucking love that.
Americans are even analyzing the body language of cereal mascots.
A Cornell University study found that adult cereals are placed on higher shelves, kids' cereals on lower ones. From down there, the characters are trying to establish eye contact with kids.
That's actually very true. Adult cereals are on higher shelves, and children's cereals are on lower shelves.
Yes.
And the children's cereals specifically are going to have characters with bigger eyes so that the children are attracted to those characters that are at their eye level. It's just marketing and product placement. If she doesn't believe in that, then this girl is, man, she has problems. She really...
Guys, not right. None of this section was a joke, right? I really don't believe in marketing. I don't think marketing's a thing, right? This whole section was not a joke at all. I actually
needs to learn something. And I looked her up, and she's a singer, guitar player, wannabe, and apparently makes these videos in hopes that she's going to be discovered when she...
So I think I think he thinks that I want to be discovered by, like, a record label or something. Which I literally could not think of anything worse than having to work for a record label and do everything that they want me to do. I could not imagine anything worse. I get to do whatever the fuck I want right now. And he thinks that I'm doing all of this just so that like Warner Music will come up to me and be like, you want to be a rock star? Yay! I couldn't imagine anything worse than not like being in charge of my own creativity. Oh my god.
She sings at the very end of her video. She sings a song with her guitar, and it's so cringe, guys. The song is so gosh dang cringe.
Right. If this guy right here, right, called me cringe. Right. So if Derek Van Shake is calling me cringe, I have reached the epitome of cringe, okay? I have reached the citadel of cringe. No one can top me. If Derek Van Shake thinks I'm cringe. Queen of cringe. I've got a crown somewhere. Wait. I crown myself the queen of cringe. And this is thanks to Derek Van Shake. I wish we could do a proper ceremony. But this will have to do. I wish we could have a coronation or something, but this will have to do. This is me crowning myself Queen of Cringe. Thank you, Derek.
And you can get 50% off a master's degree on getting to the truth.
I personally wouldn't trust any body language university. I think some of that can be a waste of money. Let's take a look at Logan from that Observe channel.
Would be qualified as a researcher or a specialist. And since I do a vast amount of work in the field, then that's kind of why I went with the master's program.
Oh, so he has a master's degree or is in the master's program. That's what it sounds like, right? But anyone who knows anything about academia, right, is that that's not how it works, because Mr. Observe guy, he's a high school dropout, and I don't know if he has his GED. He said something online that he has a GED. And he says nothing about having a bachelor's degree. In order to get into any master's program, you have to have a bachelor's degree to then be able to get into a master's program, and certainly have a master's degree. You have to have.
I mean, this is all pretty true. Like, Observe is just like so vague with all of this stuff. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm on the master's program. But it's like, how did you get onto that? It's like, clearly Paul Ekman or his team have just been like, you can say on your YouTube channel that you're doing a master's in this body language stuff, and we'll sell a course for you. And that's it. I don't know how any of it works, but what I do know is it's all bullshit. And you should definitely not pay for it.
A bachelor's degree. So when he says that's why I went with a master's program, there's one of two things that's true when he just said that. One, he either doesn't have a master's degree and he's just lying to you that he does or is in the program. Or two, the master's program is complete bullshit and is not accredited.
Yes.
One of two things is happening here. I remember getting emails from you all about him, and you all would tell me there's this other bald-headed guy with a beard that's now doing body language, but he's terrible, and you can tell that they just give PhDs out to anybody. And that's when I was like, oh, I've heard of that guy. Does he have a PhD? So let me look it up.
What? We've had a raid. Loner Box. Thanks, Bonerlocks. Bonerlocks. Boner. Hello, boners.
So I go and look it up, and he's a high school dropout. I'm like, I'm very sick of this topic on YouTube. Very sick of it. Very sick how just anybody just calls out any bullshit that you just want to hear.
Plug a book or a course that your mostly female audience will respond to by alluding that it will keep them safe from their torsos ending up in a wheelie bin.
So you can easily see the red flags to look out for to identify a psychopath in your own life. She puts my clip taken out of context to support something that I never did. I never promoted a book or a course or anything like that, but she...
Who's gifting subs? 5 tier 1 subs. Thanks, Crash Tronomy.
Puts my clip there, clipped just the right way to make it seem that I was plugging a book or a course, which I've never plugged any of that in my entire life. It's completely wrong, and I think it's actually defamatory. But am I going to do something? No, probably not, because it's just part of being a public figure, I guess.
I did it. All right. I don't know if he's ever actually plugged like an actual product off the side of his channel, to be fair, but I didn't like mean to insinuate that he was trying to like push a book or a course directly off that clip. Because like maybe he wasn't, but my point was that like he was using that kind of psychology to try and sell himself, and like that's what the rest of them do as well, is they'll say, like, they have a mostly female audience, and they'll say things like, you can use these skills to identify a body like a psychopath in your own life, which you can't. It's all bullshit. And that is a clip of you, like, you know, directly lying quite dangerously, Derek. And in my opinion, but no, I can't. He wasn't directly trying to sell a book or a course directly off that statement, but that is how he like sold his channel, and that is how the rest of them sell their channels as well, because they have mostly female viewers. And I'm like, my evidence for them mostly having female viewers is I know from like an interview. I read an interview with Observe that was like in this article where he said that, I believe he said it was like 80% female, his channel, and I assume it's the same with the rest of them as well, that they're mostly female. And like, but when you look in the comments as well, it's always like people with sort of like female looking profiles saying things like, oh, as a victim of a narcissist and having been in a relationship with a narcissist for 5 years, I can tell from this person's body language that they're a narcissist. You can't, but I feel like it's a kind of cope that these body language YouTubers kind of exploit. And yeah, it's quite sad and can be quite dangerous.
That's right. The good news is that we're done talking about her. There you go. Yay! That's what we got for you. If you're not already subscribed to the Shake Podcast, give it a subscribe, because we talk about these.
Yeah, I do believe there's a very big sort of, Venn diagram crossover between the female audience of the true crime content and the female audience of body language expert content. Because, like, yeah, I feel like it's a lot of women just sort of like... I've watched true crime content, like a lot of true crime content, and like I feel like it's very much the psychology of like I want to be able to like tell if like any red flags of like, you know, who's gonna chop me up into tiny pieces. Like there is that sort of psychology there. Like I think not saying it's not there with men, but like I think with women it's obviously like a little bit more common. 5 ads? Oh no, I don't know if I can run them myself, but I'm going to look into that before I do another stream. But yeah, it's very much sort of a lot of female people in the audience trying to look for like cues of how they can avoid having their bodies chopped up. If you run them once every half hour, then it reduces it. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will sort that out. I don't think I have a contract with Twitch because I'm just an affiliate. An affiliate. Yeah, 10 easy tips to avoid having your torso end up in a wheelie bin. Right, I really need to pee, guys. I'm so sorry. But you can watch me in the meantime. What telly do you own? Television? A Sony Bravia? No. It's a I don't know, Telecaster. I don't know what type it is. Yeah, how could he ever say that this is cringe? How dare he say that this is cringe? This is the sexiest song I've ever written. Doesn't get less cringe than this, okay? God.
Am I freezing?
I wonder what they
No,
said
you're
about
not
it.
freezing.
Yeah. So basically, these guys completely skipped over my video. They watched the intro to my video, the opening skit, and then they saw me say that that these guys had annoyed me for some time, and then they were like, "Well, you can't be scientific if you've got a bias." And then I had a rant about that because, like, obviously I never said I was unbiased, but I do give very much evidence about why what they're saying is not scientific. But they completely ignore all of that. And then they just move on to this Derek video.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Now, what I brought everyone in to talk about, though, is
she puts,
oddly enough, there was a reaction to Mooncat from, I would call him a major body language channel.
Major.
This is the host of a major body language channel. No, he's not as big as either of you, but your names might come up. And he pre-existed both of your channels, though. His name is Derek Von Shake.
I'm a subscriber.
Okay.
All right,
I think
Chase.
I am as well.
Oh.
But he's been around. I reached out to him in 2018 to try to get him on the podcast way back. So I mean, he precedes a lot of people. I think he has 500,000 or so subs.
Oh, wow.
He's definitely very big. And I found this to be really
Yeah,
surprising.
The Gucci hat
His
is not.
response is not exactly what I expected. Now, if there's somebody who's writing what I would call it was well-researched, but highly critical video about people in a field, genre, what would you guys call this? Let's go into that real quickly. On YouTube, would you consider body language or the behavior science to be a genre of sorts? Or what would you call it? Category? Topic?
Yeah.
Field?
Field.
Yeah.
Yeah. All, maybe, some part.
Well, I brought Chase here because I want to be succinct as possible. I definitely, I don't want to run on and on about it too much. But okay. So
I would say an exact science is the right.
Totally. Just like legal analysis, it's exact science. There's no way to get legal analysis wrong ever.
Absolutely
repeatable. Legal analysis ever disagrees.
No.
Well, people in the mathematics field can't disagree with each other. People that are astrophysicists can't disagree with each other often. So there's stuff that's 100% provable, and there's fields that deal in likelihoods. This just happens to be a field that deals in likelihoods. And when someone criticizes body language, it's like somebody asking a sports commentator where their credentials are after they've spent 20,000 hours playing the frickin' game.
Right. So I've seen him come out with this before. So he's like, this is basically his appeal to authority argument, where he's like, oh, well, if you don't listen to me, that's like not listening to like a tennis pro who has like won loads of big tennis tournaments and then being like, well, you can't teach me anything. And like his argument is that he's like spent decades in the military, like, but the difference is that tennis pro has proved that they're good at tennis. That is the actual difference there. Chase Hughes, you've never proved that you're particularly good at deception detection. And I think if you could do that, you would do that. But you haven't done that. Instead, what you've done is heavily sold yourself based on all of your supposed experience in the military and all this other shit you did. And then drew up a fucking body language what do you call it? The table, the scientific table. The one with the chemicals on it. Periodic table. You drew a periodic table, but you decided that you could apply that to body language science rather than chemistry. Which is just laughable. It's just those are completely different things. There was no reason for you to shape those things in the same way. Like what is the reasoning for the shape of the, like there's a certain reason for the shape of the periodic table because of, like, I don't know, the number of molecules in a thing. I don't know. I'm not a chemist, but there's a certain reason why everything's on a certain row or in a certain column. And you can't do that with human body language at all. Chase Hughes. It's just... Oh. Sorry. Carry on.
It's like, what credentials and education and certifications do you have to comment on sports? Well, I've been doing it for about 20 to 30,000 hours. There's some...
Right. And if someone was doing sports for 20 to 30,000 hours and they were still losing like every tournament that they played, you'd be like, you're not teaching me. You'd only take lessons from the person who's winning and can prove that they've won that sport. Chase.
Credentials and some expertise right there. And I think the biggest mistake, the number one thing that we'll probably hopefully talk about again, people confuse skill and expertise with information and data. Those are very different things. When I go to college, I'm testing myself. My grades are based on my ability to retain information, not my skill level. unless I'm in the medical field or I'm learning like maybe I'm getting an electrician's certification to make sure I'm not like killing someone when they sit in their hot tub. That's a different thing. But what most of this stuff is information and data and not skill and experience.
Yeah. And you've never proven that you have, you say that you have these certain types of experiences, but you've never actually proven that you have this skill that you're selling people.
That's the biggest mistake.
That's always been a similar
how is that a mistake?
I've had with people who have that kind of criticism of body language. Like if Gordon Ramsay said something like, "This is the best way to make an eggs Benedict," and he gave you tips on how to do that.
But that's not proven in a lab.
Exactly. Right. Somebody be like,
okay, Gordon Ramsay is another person that I'm like, I fucking despise. So thanks for providing him as an example. But like, you can at least say that Gordon Ramsay's like got some successful restaurants, but I think the main reason that Gordon Ramsay is successful is his personality. And the fact that he's got this marketable personality trait of being extremely rude to people and just being an awful human being. And that has given him very much this sort of sense in himself of having authority, because people listen to him, because now he has clout based on the fact that he has this personality that works well on TV, when in reality, he very likely doesn't know everything about how to make a restaurant successful. He's probably not the best person for that job, but he works well on TV. And he's just good at talking off the cuff and being extremely rude to people who are just trying to run a restaurant. I'm not a big fan of Gordon Ramsay at all, but like, so he was a very bad example to give there, I think. Heston would be a better example. His deal is experimenting with recipes to come up with desired result. Yeah, I'm not like, yeah, I don't watch many sort of like kitchen nightmares or anything like that. It just pisses me off. Like just watching some twat be rude to people who are just trying to improve their business. It just kind of pisses me off, that content. So I just sort of like don't watch it very much. But yeah, thanks for the 100 bits. Plus, Gordon Ramsay has a bunch of people at his restaurants. How do you measure the success of a body language expert? Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, the point I make. You can't measure that. They intentionally they never measure their own successes intentionally. They just sort of keep it extremely vague, and that's very intentional.
Where's the empirical evidence that that's right? Listen, a lot of what we talk about in body language, the basis of it was tested in a lab. Like, for example, when we say high blink rate is associated with stress or anxiety, that is proven in the lab again and again. So are the universal facial expressions again and again. Ekman's work, there's so much backing it up. But yeah, in the...
Okay. What? What did he just say? There's so much backing up Ekman's work. How long did I spend explaining exactly how little there is backing up his work? You know what's backing up Ekman's work? Himself. It's just one guy. Christ.
Field, there's going to be variables because behavior is not something that's consistent. And also, I love people who go, it's pseudoscience. Okay.
Yeah, and you know what? With somebody with a PhD in sports physiology,
they're agreeing that it's a pseudoscience. What? Are they just agreeing with me now? I don't understand. What? So, I assume you're all going to shut down your channels now, right?
Beat Michael Phelps in the Olympics. Oh, and by the way, I never even stopped to ask how many credentials Phelps has, and his swimming actually might be pseudoscience. We'll have to look into that. But
what? that's the thing. Like, if you decided to take swimming lessons off Michael Phelps, you're going to get some good tips because the guy's proven he's good at swimming, but you're still not going to be good at Michael Phelps because the man has fucking flippers for feet. Doesn't he have actual webbed feet? Like, you're never going to be as good as him, but there's something physical going on there.
Maybe a PhD in martial arts would make you win the UFC, or maybe a PhD in psychology would give you people skills like Bill Clinton. As it turns out, none of those things are true. It even turns out that a PhD in family therapy doesn't make you an excellent parent or even a good one. Or a PhD in engineering doesn't make you the best NASCAR driver. Or a PhD in physics doesn't make you able to beat the champion in tennis.
You're right there.
Or a Juris Doctorate makes you a lawyer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Rob, where's the research on what makes an effective lawyer?
Yeah,
right.
where's the empirical data on if you do A, B, and C, you will be a good lawyer?
There isn't any.
It's not there.
Yeah,
that's because every piece of academics that I've ever seen, and they ignore skill and expertise, and they prioritize data and information because skill and expertise are hard to replicate in a lab. So it's typically not even mentioned when.
But you could very easily prove your skill and expertise, Chase, if you just, I don't know, just like took a load of people and told them to lie or tell the truth and filmed yourself, like, say, like being able to tell the difference between them. But at the same time, even if you did do that, that wouldn't reflect real life situations because you can't replicate high stakes lies in a controlled experiment. So there's not even really a way to prove it in that sense. So in a way, this is all the perfect crime, isn't it? It's just the perfect grift. It's just so fucking vague in every sense of the word.
When we talk about things like that. So like the most famous psychology experiment of all time, the Milgram experiment, how many papers were written on the skill level of the dude in the lab coat that was making people shock the other person? Zero. There is zero measurement of skill, expertise, and experience when it comes to...
So he's saying he's got the skill. He's got the skill to make people electrocute a guy to death. In the Milgram experiment, he reckons he could do that because he's got the skill. He's got the skill, guys.
To a lot of these behavioral and psychology research. I might even say all of them. And when people say body language is a pseudoscience, this giant ass book right here is the American Psychological Association's Handbook of Nonverbal.
We know that everything printed into books is empirically true, right? We know that, guys. Everything printed into a physical book is true. Science never moves on and realizes it was wrong eventually. No! Even though most of it gets printed in a book. No! Everything that ever gets printed by a publisher is true. And it's true forever. Never gets proven wrong by subsequent studies and meta-analyses. No! If it's printed physically in a book, it's true forever. It's like the Bible.
Communication. It's like 10 pounds worth of peer-reviewed research on nonverbal communication. I have a college degree. I credit none of my certifications, zero of my college education with any of my expertise or my rating as the #1 expert on planet Earth. I'll pass it to you guys. Go ahead and do whatever you like.
Oh, I'm not following. Boom! What am I supposed to do?
Oh, we dropped the mic.
And by the way, the American Psychological Association, it's crazy how it all ties in. Joe Navarro's certification course online is backed by the American Psychological Association. So yes, you can say body language is a pseudoscience, but it's as much of a pseudoscience as psychology is. And
I was going to say psychology actually is a pseudoscience.
Psychology is pseudoscience. And I understand the argument. I understand the argument because a lot of these studies are not replicable to the same result. If you do the same thing again and again, you can have variable results because behavior is not something that is 100%.
So what are you basing this on?
Even if you do it with the same humans.
What's that?
Even if you repeat it with the same human beings, they might have had a cheeseburger that day, so their neurotransmitters are different on Tuesday than Wednesday.
Yeah.
Great. So what are you basing this on?
So, and we're not claiming. We've never claimed.
Like his entire career is sitting there on a panel where he's analyzing the body language of some fucking YouTube video of, you know, like fucking Amber Heard, and being like, oh, there's one of his favorite phrases is, oh, I'd say there's 98% chance precipitation here. And by precipitation, I mean deception. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure she's lying. And then this video is like, you don't know if they've had a cheeseburger that same day. So it's all pretty much built. Which side are you on, Chase? Which side are you on?
That what we're saying is 100% accurate. This is why we want the clusters. This is why we want to see more than one thing. This is why we want to see patterns as opposed to just one isolated behavior. And even with all that, with the clusters, with the patterns, we're always saying this is what we think. But at the end of the day, all it means is that in an interrogation room, we would ask more questions about that subject. That's it.
And you know, Eric.
And that's exactly the root of the problem that I point out in my video, is that there are police doing the exact same fucking thing that you're doing, and that leaves them down a path of interrogation with guilt in mind, with presumption of guilt, which creates this positive feedback loop of body language, which convinces the policeman in that interrogation room that they've got a deceptive person. And the more sure that policeman gets about their assumption, the more likely they are to be wrong. That is exactly where the fucking problem lies.
I don't know what you're about to show us on Derek Van Shake. I hope it's good because I like the guy. There are occasions where he's very comfortable with the ambiguity of this art form, or whatever you want to call it.
I think art form's a good term.
When
I don't think you should be treating this like a fucking art form in any sense of the word, because as soon as you say art form, that just implies the personal biases of the person carrying it out, doesn't it? Fucking art form. Like, yeah, I'm an artist. I make art. But like that art is based on me and my own view of the world, my own biases, you could say. If you try and read someone's body language and call it an art form, then you're basically admitting that your own biases, i.e. your experience, which translates into your biases, is completely running the show here, which is the exact thing that I say is wrong. Is the exact thing that makes people be wrong about whether someone's lying or not.
An expert is comfortable with ambiguity, I think that they're on the right track, because most of the time, we don't know yet is the most intellectually superior answer that you could give, including fields like neuroscience and neurology. We don't know yet. We don't have that figured out yet, is an intellectually superior answer. And I think that maybe what we're going to see is us getting bashed in this video. And if that's true, I want to preface this.
I'm doing some bashing right now, guys.
I think there's 3 levels of maturity in life. We have competitive, collaborative, and cooperative. And in this competitive mindset, it's essentially, I have to take them down, or I'm either going to fail or my people are going to leave me. And I think at a certain level of maturity, we're all in a competitive mindset. We all go through maybe a phase, sometimes later in life, earlier. We're in a competitive mindset at some point in our lives. Some people, like my fiance, who were born into a collaborative mode, but I think these people are extremely rare. I remember when I was younger, like a teenager, I saw the whole world through a competitive lens. I thought the way up was to compare myself to others, and if I could get them low enough, I would then get to the top. And we see this at different maturity levels of different people, but I think you get to the point of maturity where you get to a cooperative or a collaborative mindset, and you don't see competition. People say Amazon is squashing small business. Amazon is making small businesses thrive.
What's the point he's trying to make here? I'm just like...
Amazon's responsible for like 30% of the millionaires in the United States that don't even work for Amazon. So like we see companies and individuals and businesses that get into a collaborative and cooperative mindsets and out of the competitive mindset where I have to push someone down, because that is a limited mindset and it's a
Is he talking about the Derek guy? Because I guess he would see them as a competition, but like, I don't know.
Scarcity mindset. To where,
That's what I was looking for: scarcity or zero-sum game versus an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
And that goes into the piece of pie where everybody thinks that, okay, you have one pie and we all have to eat off of it, so I'm going to get my piece, rather than the mindset of, well, we could get a few more ingredients and bake another damn pie.
If you eat more pie, there's less for me.
Yeah, there's not less for anybody. And like Derek's channel,
Oh, shit.
I'm jealous of his badass backgrounds. He's got lighting like Spidey has. He's got cool tiles on the wall. I just put a camera up and there's books in the back. And I'm jealous of his editing capacity. He has the energy level of 3 human beings.
Hold on now.
Yeah, he's talking about Derek. He's basically saying that Derek's immature because he's comparing himself with the rest of the community, I guess.
But, Chase, his books aren't color-coded, though. That one's all you.
That's correct, yeah.
His books in order by color is definitely a Chase Hughes specialty.
But before we get into any videos, I would like, if I may, it's your channel, but I'd like to preface this by these people mean well. No matter how mean they sound, they think they're doing the right thing for their fans, for themselves, for the greater
about me
good.
now.
By bashing me or bashing anybody else, they mean well. So before anybody gets angry or feels the need to like down talk anybody else, put yourself back into
She means well, guys. She's just trying to do the right thing. She's just trying to do. Oh, she's just trying to. Oh, she's just trying to do the right thing. All right, she's trying to do the right thing for my audience.
cooperative, collaborative mindset. There's no need to do that here. We don't need to push anybody down. They go down on their own. I promise. I promise you. They go down on their own with no help from us.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get into it. I know everybody's excited, and it's like, oh boy, are we spoiling for it? Now this
There's
is
a background. Look at this. I've never seen this. Look at this. Man, I want the same thing.
We haven't had any cats this stream, have we? Shall I go and annoy some cats? They're both asleep on my bed right now. Brooklyn. He was fast asleep. This is the eye bleach, okay? Here's your eye bleach. He was like fast asleep. I'm so sorry, Brooklyn. I know I'm such a mean parent. Oh dear. Yeah, you're gonna see some cat asshole. Hope that's not TOS. But there will be cat asshole pretty soon on screen.
Well, he's a pro.
It looks like he has 2 seats there. He's ready to have Chase and Eric on as guests.
He says he's looking for a co-host, Chase, so maybe we have a shot.
I'm happy to do it.
We'll find out.
Topless.
Oh,
let's see what we got here.
Tan Daddy.
She puts my clip taken out of context to support something that I never did. Welcome back to the Shake Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Van Shake, and of course we don't have a co-host. Still looking for one of those. If you have been following me on any of my other social media, either my main channel or Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere else, you would know that I have been posting quite a bit of short videos. Are really not specific to body language at all. I've kind of moved away, not completely, but just kind of, I don't know, the way I like to say it and like to think of it is just matured a bit. And I'll still, of course, always be interested in behavioral stuff, you know, with body language and analyzing things, breaking things down, trying to come to the truth and investigating. That's never going to change.
As long as you give him the chin
it's just
strokes,
that I
he's
have
happy.
been noticing that I can't compete with liars. Okay. I mean, quite frankly, I just can't compete with liars, you know.
They're not reacting to me directly because they're scared of me. They're scared of the facts. They're scared of the facts and logic.
Just people who put out videos and just saying whatever you want to hear and just pointing out some bull crap about their body language and just confirming your already previously held beliefs. I can't do that, and I can't do that with a solid conscience. The point is that I feel like as a creator, I have matured past solely body language and similar things like that, and moved to other more interesting things that require a little more education. So there's a video.
Anyway, so there's a start, and when I saw that going in, I was like, this isn't quite what I was expecting. I thought that he would be saying, what? No, there is value to body language and all that. And he does, I will say, ultimately, he'll wind up saying that, but apparently, maybe only from him. I don't know. We'll see.
They came out by a young lady named Mulecat.
Look at
It's
that
Mooncat, by the way.
face.
Mooncat.
Like an investigative channel she is. Mooncat with a few 100,000
Brooklyn, look at the
subscribers,
camera.
and she gets quite a few views for every video. And I noticed that she puts out like a video every like 3 months, does some kind of big investigation and does that. And most of her videos get several 100,000 views because she spends, 3 months on the thing. So it's kind of her 3 months worth of work that you see. So we're going to watch her expose of all of her body language channels, including yours truly that she included. And we are going to react and see what we think of her analysis that she claims she has done here.
Hold on, hold a sec. So far he's condescended on her, but also the people she's criticizing.
Yep.
So he's agreeing with her, but not agreeing with her.
This guy hates everyone.
Well, I could be projecting, but what I've seen so far is he kind of said he's condescending to her and he can't compete because everybody's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. I mean, out the gate was, I can't compete with liars.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting intro from that. And I'm like, I know so many of these.
You know what's
people.
hilarious about that? I'm speaking for myself. When I make my content, very often I ask myself, like, what is the public opinion and how can I present a different angle than that? Just to have people out there consider something different than what they're seeing. For example, with Meghan Markle, the obvious thing to do would have been to just trash her because that's what everybody out there wants. So everybody out there is talking about how much of a horrible human being she is. But I purposely tried to point out things that would be like, well, maybe this isn't that bad. Like if we look at that, maybe let's not jump to the conclusion that she's a complete monster. And, a lot of people were like, how dare you?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you make a video like that about Meghan Markle, the people clicking on it are going to be the people who already hate her. And if you sort of try and make an unbiased video about Meghan Markle's body language, which is based on absolutely no empirical evidence whatsoever, the people watching that video coming in with their preconceived bias are only going to really latch onto the negative things that you say about her apparent body language and analysis, like, ooh, here she was looking for the camera because she wanted to be on camera. That's the thing that they always say about her. She's attention seeking. Because they have this story about her like coming from Hollywood and only wanting to be in the royal family because she thinks that'll make her famous. And they're just looking for anything to back that up. It doesn't matter if you give a fucking disclaimer or say anything positive about her because that's the only thing that they're there for. And you know that. And you know that that's going to be the people who click on the video. And that's why you make videos about her all the time, because you know that there's a lot of people who already hate her. And so you're just making money out of that.
Yeah. Dude, she's the absolute worst. And I knew that was going to happen. But yeah, for me, it's like, it's more about balance than even taking either side. So even if I personally have a bias, another great example is I covered Teal Swan a couple of months ago, and she's like a healer and very spiritual, and I don't hold those beliefs at all.
Okay, cult leader.
Some call her a cult leader.
Actually, they do. I mean, that's why I throw it out there. But she could be that. It depends on your take. Some people think, some don't.
The easier path for me would have been to say, no, she's full of it, and look at all my experience with therapy and hypnosis, and I can disprove what she's doing. But I didn't take that path. I took the path of saying, let's look at it from both angles, because maybe there's...
I've not heard of Teal Swan. Is that like a grifter person?
So I do think objectivity is a very big part of what we do. Okay. I think what he's doing there is he's projecting the way he used to operate onto us.
Could be. Rob, you're a good neutral voice on this. You've never seen either video, you know nothing about them, so you're perfect. You don't. really have that much exposure. What are your thoughts so far?
He's hedging his bets. He's basically playing both sides of the coin, regardless of how the outcome is of the video or the outcome is of his analysis. He's dismissed everyone else's body language analysis as being inferior to his own. And then he's also said that he's going to gauge this person. So if you try to say that body language, he's hedging his bets. He's playing both sides.
Cool. Chase, any thoughts?
No idea what's going to happen next. I haven't seen this, but the background is amazing. I'd like to see the rest.
All right. Set design for the win.
Wrong if the only thing that wants to be around you is cats.
Body language experts. They've annoyed me.
Actually,
Don't you?
Well, Brooklyn here.
Let me back that up.
She has done here.
Personal opinion and empirically proven pseudoscience. Over to our weather correspondent while I go and jump off a cliff.
She's the type of person, who you meet and you kind of say, oh, you have a cat, don't you?
Well, Brooklyn here gets it.
There's nothing wrong with having a cat. But there's maybe something wrong if the only thing that wants to be around you is cats.
Who hurt you?
That's a very thoughtful.
We don't have any evidence that. I bet a lot of people want to be around her.
Yeah.
Like who hurt you?
What did they say about me? Wait,
be around you is cats.
Who hurt you?
That's a very thoughtful.
We don't have any evidence that. I bet a lot of people want to be around her.
Yeah.
He's saying a lot of people want to be around me. Why? What was the underlying comment there? Spidey? What? Is he... What?
Like, who hurt you?
But isn't that a perfect answer? I mean, it's like, okay, so...
Weird assumption. Maybe I'm a terrible person that nobody wants to be around.
we're going to go immediately for the trope? That's an odd choice. It's like, oh, I bet she has a cat. Beavis and Butthead's back. I mean, good God. So I think that was interesting.
Language experts. They've annoyed me for some time.
I agree. Some body language experts are quite annoying. There's always a happy medium of when something is too much, it becomes not very good anymore.
A moving camera too?
Body language
Girls facing the world instead of facing her man. What does it mean if the triangle is green?
She's a little weird. I mean, maybe I should break down her body language. I wonder if she would like that. What do you think her body language says right here? She's standing up without pants on, apparently, and either a long shirt or
I was wearing pants for the second time.
And she's pointing to her between leg region. Yeah.
And now they're all over the only website.
Wait, we know some of this.
I saw Spidey.
Yeah.
And now
I'm at the top. Is that good?
Oh, I've never heard of Enigma.
Yeah, that's
She put you on her third eye.
Yeah.
I'm super
You're right
excited.
there.
Oh,
Spidey, you
what does that mean when I put you on my third eye? What the fuck?
make an appearance, I promise.
Like, at least in the field of like pseudo idiots who are baseless and dumb, I'm the top one. Super exciting.
Yeah.
There you go, body language guy, Believing Bruce.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Believing Bruce, I like a lot.
Oh, no, Believing Bruce is like literally one of the worst ones. He's hilariously bad, Believing Bruce. He's the one. He's the Geordie guy that holds up the plastic brain all the time and goes, "Your limbic system, your limbic." I can't do a Geordie accent, but it's that guy. Oh my god, he's so bad.
The guy's fantastic.
Well, where the hell?
Oh, there's Mandy. Mandy's here.
Oh, is that her name? I didn't talk about this channel in my video much, but I talk about it a bit on the Patreon extras video. But this channel is probably the worst out of them all, but I didn't really talk about it much because she doesn't even try to say that she's sort of like got any science backing up whatever she's saying. She just kind of like does voiceovers on videos and just sort of like says her opinion on what people's body language means, and it's such biased bullshit. It's but like, because like she doesn't even try and say that it's backed up by science, I kind of just didn't even include it. I was just like, it's not even worth talking about this fucking channel.
Body language ghost, Mandy O'Brien. I've had her on.
Yeah, where's the panel?
On the website.
Oh, she didn't even go after the panel. You guys are excluded from this.
Oh, no. I've seen her. I've seen all 90.
Yeah, I definitely talk about the body language channel. Don't worry, guys. I didn't leave you out. You just didn't turn up in that little screenshot, okay?
Minutes. Believe me, the panel was covered. Chase got his own special time.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
in
you
the long
did,
video. I'm
Chasey.
only talking about the Derek video because I find it odd to have a body language person reacting to that to
You got a
I
special
don't know.
time.
Time wasn't there. I would
Special
want it to
chase
be
time.
I would have wanted them to be included in that.
Oh, you're the feature player.
Yeah.
And now they're all over the only website
Oh, there I am, right there. I'm famous, guys. I'm famous.
on the internet.
There.
Oh, they're there. Yes. Okay, wonderful.
Right.
Yeah, love it. Oh, Observe. Yeah, of course. Observe too. Like I should have pointed that out. He belongs on this list as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, look at that. That's a bunch of great channels right there.
Yeah.
There you go. It's
Great
everybody should
channels.
know.
Great.
Okay, so subscribe now to all these.
YouTube.com.
Subscribe to them all,
Breathing
guys.
Goose, the
Subscribe to them
behavioral
all.
arts, Derek Van Shake, yours truly. Yeah, that's me. She decided to feature me. That's right. The behavior panel, Observe. Looks like Ghost is in there. The guy's in there, and I've never seen this guy over here.
While we sit on the sofa, our brains slowly turning into a mushy paste.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's turning into a mushy paste. Me,
You,
listening to
baby.
her. Like, it's
Why?
a little.
Hold on.
It's a little
Eric.
drawn out. And if you think this is drawn out, later on gets completely drawn out with just some crap that she just throws in there because she's just trying to make a lot of money off of a long.
Am I what?
Have you edited this video at all?
No, no.
Like, how are we drawn out? Aren't we like in the first 30 seconds?
What do you mean?
Like, he's like, this is getting really drawn out. This is taking a long time. This is a lot of mush.
Oh no, he is reacting to her video. He doesn't actually go through all 90 minutes. He's describing her video, which I will say it is 90 minutes. Now I'm a fan of videos, but a 90-minute pre-recorded YouTube video is a long video.
Oh no.
And she goes into a lot of depth and has chapters.
Yeah.
It is a very long video. But so and that's where he's going with the drawn out, but being snarky every step of the way, in my opinion.
I am a fan of videos. I love videos as well, Eric.
long form video and trying to make as much money as possible because this is her quarterly, ability to pay her rent. So she has to make very.
So we're seeing a champion level content.
I'm having the best time watching 5 white men who talk shit on the internet give their opinion on me. This is way more fun than I thought. I'm so glad they did this.
All right, stop right there. So we're seeing a champion level content creator, number one. Like, this is good content. Like, she is editing really well. Everything's edited well. And he should know that she's trying to be funny. Like, just from what I've seen here, she's trying to be funny. She's doing what she's supposed to do to get subscribers. Do something dramatic, criticize something, and get subscribers. That's her job. And I don't know why there's a need to like, oh, I need to smash this person's face into the ground and make a YouTube video about it. I think this could have been done by Derek. I love a lot of Derek's stuff. I think it could have been done with a little more maturity.
He's absolutely right there. Or he could have just not done it at all. I think he's really made a bit of an idiot out of himself through just doing this at all. Like, he didn't need to do this. He could have pretended I didn't exist and none of this would have happened. You wouldn't have had this reaction and you wouldn't have had my reaction now. And you would have just, this just would have just disappeared into the ethers of the internet. But you had to do this. And it did come across as immature and like you were perhaps projecting some of your own issues onto me.
Agree. And this is why I wanted to show at least the intro to her video to give a vibe.
We love a bit of reaction. So it's me, and then Derek reacting to me, and then these 4 guys reacting to that guy reacting to me, and then me reacting to these 4 guys reacting to Derek reacting to me. Can this get any more layers deeper? And you're reacting in chat. Oh my God, can it get any deeper than this?
Of what she's doing, her editing, her patterns, whatever. And it is funny.
I will say this. From what I heard
They think I'm funny
about her video and the bits that I saw, I don't have a problem at all with her saying, here's what's being presented. I personally don't buy it. It's not for me. Because listen, Chase and I, we've studied.
Is it a React onion with a tiny reptile in the middle?
hypnosis most of our adult lives. We're used to having people tell us that the thing that we study and are passionate about is not real. It's fine. We'll get over that. We're allowed to have differences of opinion. We've heard this all the time. And yet I was sending Chase screenshots last week of a hypnosis session I did. And maybe she's watching. She's a great subscriber, Rachel, where she had a crippling fear of flying in heights, crippling fear. We did one virtual session. The next day she sent me a picture. She was walking on, you know, those really tall trees where you walk between on those bridges between the tall trees. I don't even know what it's called, but she was like enormously high up, sending pictures with a smile on her face and saying, my boyfriend is in shock. He never thought I could do this. One session. So Chase and I are used to being told this isn't real, and then proceeding to just do it anyways. It's fine. But so I didn't mind that part of what she was saying at all, especially because it was well researched. So she said, there's research that shows this, then there's research that shows the opposite of this. I'm going to go ahead with this hallway. And
okay, he's very much misrepresenting the conclusion I came to here. Right? He's saying there are studies that prove this body language stuff, and then there's also studies that disprove this body language stuff. And I only looked at the stuff that disproved it. What I looked at was the meta-analyses and the conclusion of the meta-analyses. If you don't know what a meta-analysis is when a scientist takes in a fuck ton of previous studies and puts them all together and tries to come to some sort of conclusion from that. And the conclusion from the meta-analyses is that you can't rely on visual cues. And in fact, visual cues makes your deception detection skills worse than if you were just to use auditory clues. That is the conclusion of the meta-analyses. But even then, when you are looking at meta-analyses in this area of study, you're still only looking at the conclusion of studies which are extremely limited. Because you can't control for the person, you can't control for the situation, you can only control for the person. And even then, you can only control for the person within the confines of the experiment. So even the meta-analyses are not perfect. Probably quite far from perfect. And it is for that reason that the actual scientists who are trying to find out how to detect deception for real with actual results have given up on body language analysis because it's just too vague. I didn't just look at the fucking single studies that said that this means nothing and then go, well, look at these, not these. That's absolutely not what I did. And if you'd fucking react to my video instead of some random body language dude reacting to my video, then maybe you'd see that.
And that's fine. What I didn't like was her very condescending tone towards Paul Ekman and Joe Navarro.
Oh!
You can debate intelligently.
Especially Ekman. She kind of went hard.
Yes, I
said
did.
a lot of mean things about him.
Yes.
And you can look at what he's teaching and go, I don't buy it. I'm not going to subscribe to that. But Paul Ekman is very respected in psychology. His research opened up
he is. But you see, that there is... If you'd listen to what I fucking say about Ekman, his entire career was a grift to sell shit to the FBI and the CIA. And he doesn't release anything to be peer reviewed. Does that not give you any red flags?
Massive door to nonverbal communication research. His work has been studied, and there are way more studies that confirm what he said. The angry face. There is so much research on the angry face. There's so much research on the individual components of the angry face. Just the furrowed brows, just the opened upper eyelids, just the wing dilation or nostril flaring. There's a lot of research that confirms it. Yes, there's some research that tries to go against it, but it hasn't been discredited.
Tries to go against it.
The psychology community hasn't outcast.
So he's basically implying that every study that found that there was nothing there was like, oh, but it was trying to go against it.
Or thrown away as research at all. there's some debate over it, but there's far more that confirms it than denies it. Universal emotions are very much studied in psychology. So
she went after Darwin too. Don't forget.
Okay, well,
yeah. And part of it was, and this is the part, and I don't want to get too deep into her.
Okay, went after Darwin. So Darwin only had a theory that expressions of emotions were universal. It was only a theory. Like Darwin wrote a lot of shit, and some of it he proved, and some of it he was only theorizing. And Ekman came along and tried to prove what Darwin theorized. And it turned out, through much science that happened in the decades after Darwin theorized that was wrong, and Ekman happens to be the only scientist that's ever found that what Darwin was saying was true. That's what I pointed out in my video, but apparently that's me just like shitting on Darwin and everything Darwin's ever done. Okay, bro?
Video, because we're not going into that, but when she went after Darwin, it was, instead of saying his science is garbage, she said that he had an inbred relationship and had children that were defective. And
that was a joke! I actually found that really quite funny and interesting to point that out. But he's implying that I only included that to have a little bit of a dig at Darwin. I just think it's hilarious that he wrote books and books on how evolution happens and genes and shit. And then he had 10 kids with his first cousin. And then he wondered why they died. I just think that's hilarious. I just think that's really fucking funny. I'm not trying to shit on Darwin. Maybe a little bit. But that's empirically proven hilarious shit. Oh my god.
It's like, that's really not arguing the guy's science, that's arguing his personal choices.
They really wanted me to make a video where I literally only stuck to the facts and like presented it like just deadpan to the camera. Darwin said this. Then Ekman said this. And then had no one watch it because it wasn't entertaining. That's what they would have preferred. But no, I dared to make it interesting and entertaining. That was my crime.
Ability.
And that doesn't, ad hominem attacks is, I guess, the best way to put it.
Oh,
and when you have that kind
that's the Manosphere's favorite. That's the Manosphere's favorite phrase. Ad hominem attacks. If you look in my comment section for my Manosphere video, it's like everyone from the Red Pill community came over to my video and went, This is full of ad hominem. You didn't debunk anything. This is all ad hominem. Like, yeah, I took the piss out of your god, Rollo Tomassi. I'm sorry. I took the piss out of his little gremlin hairdo. Sorry. But I just couldn't help it. It was too funny to not do it. But after I did that, I came at you with the studies. So get over it.
Thing, right? Don't go now. If you say this research was proven false and terrible because this research came along and tore it up, she did a lot of that with Ekman. That's fair, but she did do a little bit of that, like with Darwin, and that popped in my head just as an example.
But all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, Ekman remains a highly respected professor of psychology.
He shouldn't.
Like he's got the experience. He did the research. He went out there. What he presented was very sound.
He did the research, guys. He did the DARPA-funded research and then sold his program and made a fuck ton of money. I wonder how rich Ekman is. Fuck me. Just tuned in. Is this video a response to you? Base. So, sort of by proxy, yes. They kind of skipped over my video and have decided to respond to a response to my video because they They don't dare respond to my video. No.
He didn't falsify evidence. So yes, you can look at it and go, I have a problem with this. I have some criticism here, and that's fine. But remember one thing, at the end of the day, if it's you versus Ekman talking about psychology, Ekman wins based on experience, based on credentials, based on everything.
Here we go. We have the appeal to authority argument. Appeal to authority argument. Ekman has got the skills and the experience, and he went to Papua New Guinea. That means he knows everything. Just ignore the entire community of other scientists, the fucking dozens of other scientists who actually went out and proved he was wrong. Ignore all of them.
Everything at the end of the day, when it comes to psychology, his opinion just matters more. So,
no,
you know, for me, it's a question of respect.
How does it matter more than the fucking dozens of other scientists who have directly gone against him?
If I disagree on something that Chase says, I'm going to approach that extremely respectfully because it's Chase. His experience in interrogation rooms, his experience with research, his credentials far outweigh mine. So it's...
Yeah, and Ekman's experience outweighs mine. But what I'm looking at is other people who have done studies and have experience and have been peer-reviewed, unlike Ekman.
Can be presented with respect. And it's the same with Navarro, by the way. She discredits or speaks down on Navarro because some of what he says isn't research, it's his own experience. But that experience isn't a weekend in an interview room. It's 30 years as an FBI interrogator with a very decorated career who now trains the FBI, whose work is back.
Right. Well, why doesn't he fucking prove this supposed skill that he has in deception detection then? He doesn't. He doesn't prove that specific skill that he can tell whether someone's lying or like hiding a certain feeling. He's never proved that. Why doesn't he just do one fucking poker game? He gives his opinion on who's giving poker tells on Wired, on the Wired YouTube channel to like millions of viewers. He's like, oh, look at the body language of this poker player here. He's never proved that he's good at playing poker himself, but you know what he's done? He's written an entire book about poker tells. This is what these body language people do. He's never proved he's good at playing poker. Never. And you know who else has done one? Fucking Judy James. Has she ever proved that she's good at playing poker? Never.
Up by the American Psychological Association, his certification course, it's credited. You can get credits for advanced education with his course for psychologists, for therapists. So his work is highly recognized and acknowledged by law enforcement and psychology. So
appeals to authority.
Appeals to authority. Appeals to authority.
So even if you disagree, and that's fine, you can disagree. I think a level of respect is owed to a man who interrogated for 30 years for the FBI, and that alone to me is valuable. Anyways, sorry for the TED Talk.
Let me just interject. What you guys just heard Spidey do, that's the way that you go back and you rebut the things that you saw in the video. What we're seeing Derek do here is an ineffective response. I mean, he's engaging the same type of behavior, the ad hominem attacks. He's employing a really kind of nasty sense of humor when he's trying to do it. It's that funny but not funny sense of humor that's really disconcerting. So when you see someone that makes a video like that, if you disagree with it, you have two options or three options. One, ignore it. Two, laugh with it as a humor. Or three,
I mean, he's not wrong here. He could have, the best thing would have been for him to ignore it. And the second best thing for him to do would have been to laugh along with it.
You come back and you actually critique it. Engaging in the same type of ad hominem attacks doesn't do anything except for put two pigs in a pen, and now both of you are muddy.
Is he calling me a pig in a pen with Derek? I'd love to be a pig in a pen with Derek. We do a little race. We get our whittles out.
Chase, what you got?
Let's keep going. I want to see a little more.
Oh yeah, there's plenty more. There's good stuff.
By the way, I do want to say something before we go on. My introduction to Ekman and my introduction to Chase, what's the book? It's two guys. Oh my God, on nonverbal communication, massive textbook.
The Pieces.
Alan and Barbara Pease.
No, textbook.
Two guys, one micro expression.
Oh my God.
Man
Why am I
watching.
blanking on this? I have it up here.
Desmond Morris.
No, I'll go get it in a sec. But anyways, my
Oh,
first introduction.
Julius Fast.
No, I'll go get it in a sec. I don't know why I'm blanking on this. I shouldn't be blanking on this. But anyways, Knapp and Hall. KNAPP and Hall. They wrote the textbook on nonverbal communication.
I have it.
Yeah, of course you do. It's a compilation of research on nonverbal communication. I was introduced to both those things, Paul Ekman and the Knapp and Hall textbook, in my degree, my college degree, my university degree in sociology and psychology. So, people who say like, "Oh, this is pseudoscience," yeah, as far as psychology and sociology are pseudosciences, it's a pseudoscience in that it's not always empirical and repeatable, but it doesn't mean it's invalid. Come on now.
All right.
Long form video, and the longer it is, the more she gets paid. They start out okay, and it's kind of interesting, and if you're kind of on board with it, it kind of works, but then it just dies so quickly. Her watch time towards the end must be like 10%. Don't worry, we're going to fast forward through a lot of this and clip the heck out of this.
But you must rather observe clusters of cues to deception, which allows them to weave any narrative they like.
There is the possibility of people doing that, and that's what I think some people are doing nowadays. I think some people are just figuring out whatever you want to hear and just pointing out some things on her face and being like, oh, well, there you go. You all don't like Amber Heard, right? So here you go. Point some things out. See, it's fake because you didn't see some tears rolling down her left eye enough. You can make up anything. And that's the reality. And that's what I really hate about body language, is that you can get some people that are just going to say whatever you want to hear and just lie to you, frankly, because they can just confirm whatever you already want to know and already want to hear. So, what Mule Cat is saying here.
Mule Cat.
And I have no idea what her name is at this point. We're just going to call her anything that comes to mind. What Mule Cat is saying isn't completely wrong, that, if there's confirmation bias and you can just say to people whatever they already want to hear and they're going to want to hear it. But to say that all body language is completely bullshit is just wrong. And here's the other thing. To do body language right is more than just to look at the behavior, but to also analyze the verbals and to analyze the speech and assess what they are actually saying, to piece together the subject's words to the facts. That really has a major impact.
Totally
I agree with him. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So that right there is dead
on how accurate you can be, is really pulling it all together. And what she's talking about is just mostly just the behavioral side. Oh, well, look, she did this and she pointed to her hair and she had.
I smuggle truth, facts, and logic. The Mule Cat.
She was crying and everything like this,
Mule
as
Cat.
opposed to also pay attention to her speech. To
Yeah, you
use
said it.
everything in concert to be able to have an idea of what's going on and to figure out the truth.
Or they'll watch retrospective cases in which they already know.
Oh, I know these guys.
Oh,
my
look,
God,
you're
Little
famous.
Bad pause
his
game.
ear.
Bad pause game.
Why do they do it? I hate that shirt.
Bad pause game.
That's like his old house. That's like when Chase was a little Chasito, like before he evolved into a full
Chasito.
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 Chasito, pobrecito.
Borrow some sweats.
These are my
Chris and I have this
recreation
thing about
clothes.
the movie Nacho Libre with Jack Black, where we just like randomly send each other quotes.
By the way, did you borrow Greg Hartley's ceiling for your new place? Are you secretly there and you just repainted it?
This is the other side of that room. I live in his basement.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering. I mean, that there's something here.
I have a quick question. So he was saying that you have to take verbal analysis into account as well, and then he was saying that they don't do that, or someone doesn't do that. Who doesn't do that?
I don't know. There's a big who, but don't worry, Spidey. He might fill in some blanks if you stick with us.
Oh no.
The outcome of an event and then sit there postulating about how they would have seen the warning signs.
And she points out the retrospective of, oh, well, Chris Watts,
He called this
everyone looks at
case.
Chris Watts and they'll say that, oh, you should have known because look what he's doing. Yeah, there's some of that where you have the retrospective.
I honestly think anyone could have called this case. The thing is that body language channels are fucking obsessed with the Chris Watts case, and so are all true crime channels. And it's like your spidey senses tingling. But it's like Chris Watts was the perfect example. Like Chris Watts's case was the perfect case for true crime and for body language analyst channels, because he just he was a sociopath who killed his family, but he also made it extremely obvious, and he was caught extremely easily by police tactics that come from the Reed technique, which we know the Reed technique puts innocent people in jail a lot of the times because it's so flawed, because it's based on really shitty body language reading techniques that are based on the experience of law enforcement. And Chris Watts happened to embody all of that in one guy, and also was stupid enough to not realize that a polygraph test is basically not rooted in any science at all. It's basically used as a tool to get people to confess, and he was stupid enough to allow it to convince him to confess. He was the perfect case example for both true crime and for body language analysts. He did a terrible job of covering his tracks up. But I'm sorry to say, that's not always the case. Some people are extremely good at covering their tracks and have extremely convincing body language and know that they can't be caught by a polygraph test. A lot of psychopaths know that. Chris Watts just didn't know that, and so he got caught really easily. That's the difficult truth of it all, is that you can't always tell when someone's gonna fucking kill you and your kids and bury you and put like out a fucking oil thingy and shove your kids into some canisters or whatever he did. You don't always know when someone's gonna do that, but I think like a lot of people like to sort of sit there in the really sort of comforting world of like, everybody who's going to do that will act like Chris Watts and will make it really obvious. It's not always the case. Yeah. It's kind of sad that people, I guess it's like, I don't know, maybe it's the maybe there being so much true crime content on the internet now has caused this, where women are so fucking scared now that, like, mostly women, that like they're just looking for like any sort of like hope of like, how can I ever avoid this happening to me? Like, maybe people are scared of psychopaths more than they ever were before because there's so much true crime content on the internet, and like we all consume it, but I feel like women consume it more because it happens to women more, and women get scared that it's going to happen to them. Yeah, it's kind of sad to think about.
Of bias, and you already know the outcome, so you're able to say it. But at the same time, I was making body language videos before he came out and confirmed that he was guilty and confirmed that he did
Derek called this case.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
And he's willing to go out on a limb, which we give him tremendous amount of respect for.
Okay.
On before he came out as guilty. I guess she's showing the behavioral panel here, which I've never seen any of their videos, but
okay, I love that.
Oh,
I've never seen any of their videos, but
yeah,
here we go. Hold on, let's hear that again. I always love hearing that from people. I've never seen any of fill in the blank, but
yeah,
early on before he came out,
Terrifying Mums is it's very good business for sure. Depressingly,
is guilty. I guess she's showing the behavioral panel here, which I've never seen any of their videos, but yeah, if you look at their backgrounds, they're not very impressive. And here's another thing to always know and always remember. The FBI will never hire anybody who has not graduated from college. And you usually have to go to a pretty good college too. You can't just, take all your college courses from your mom's basement and expect to get into the FBI.
Spotting.
Wow, that hurt. That hurt because like Chase was like so keen on complimenting the guy's background and saying how like he aspires to be like him, and the guy just went right for the gut. I
need to change this up.
My heart bleeds for you.
I'll help you with the lighting setup, Chase. I've learned a lot.
I can tell. I see you have the dresser that Abraham Lincoln.
Oh no. Other setup with a jury box of unicorns.
Love that guy with all of his credentials right behind him as well. Look at my qualifications, guys. I know what I'm talking about. I promise.
Corns and robots that are in the background. Yeah. Chase is throwing shade.
I love you, Rob.
Come on, Derek. Guys, this is what they want. They want us to turn on each other. Don't do it.
Yes,
Collaborative mindset.
Don't worry, Chase is turning on the non-body language person, so you're
I want these 4 pigs in a pen now.
still okay.
Listen, guys, listen. The truth of the matter is, some people have credentials and information and experience and are
Hi, Pixels Mixel.
brilliant and don't need a nice background because the information is right. And some other people really focus on the background a little more because they have nothing to back it up with. So they need to have nice stuff in the background. I'd much rather be one of the ones who has the normal looking backgrounds because I want to be smart.
So that's me, right? I have the
So we start every stream with a pig race, and we're just carrying on with the pig racing.
IKEA cluttered shelves. So that's my credentials.
I'm gonna put my fake plants back on.
So with all that said,
Of course, they did a rebuttal. Yeah.
I was a high school dropout, give or take, and I'm a college graduate now. But all of my stuff that I built for body language is hanging on the wall at the FBI Academy. So take that for whatever it is.
Yep.
Although it's not a real rebuttal to me, because thanks for the sub, because what they did is they watched the intro to my video and then they just sort of skipped over my video and have gone straight to this other guy's reaction to my video. So this is a 4 layers deep reaction right now, just so you completely understand what's going on. This is a reaction-ception.
Facial emotions is critical to understand people's behavior and their attitudes to you, because you want to know if they are being sincere or maybe don't have the best intentions in mind. And that's why I created my complete guide to facial expressions.
So with this guy, I actually had no idea that this was the body language guy. I heard of this guy one time. I don't watch any of these channels. I watch none of them because they're just, some of them are unbearable. They're really bad. But his name's the body language guy, and he looks at basically pictures and evaluates body language just based on picture.
Okay, Spidey, I know you follow Jesus. Does Jesus look at pictures and do his body language based on still pictures?
Yeah, that Bo Burnham bit where he like reacts to himself, then reacts to himself, then reacts to himself. Yeah.
Not that I've seen. I think every now and then, like on a post
Meta on top of meta on top of meta on top of meta on top of meta. Yes.
or something, he might take a picture and look at some of the body language there. But overall, I've been very impressed with Jesus and the way he explains things. And I know that his fans learn a lot. And I've never, like, I can't remember a single time where I heard him say something I was like, oh, that's completely wrong.
You know,
I think he does have, he's not a big Meghan Markle fan. And
that's his beat.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And I think at the end of the day, like, so if we look at what Derek is saying, like, does Jesus look at Meghan and have a confirmation bias? I don't think that's what it is. Does he point out things that legitimately paint her under negative light? I think that there are times where he does that, where he chooses to look at the things that she does that aren't the best.
I think we're all guilty of that. I will personally say I'm guilty of that. I've been pissed off for something that happened in my life, and I will target something on a show while we're filming a panel. I'm not a robot. I'm not a fucking machine. If someone wants to like say that, I will never go to the mat and say that I am like some flawless thing that is unbiased or doesn't do anything. And you know what Jose does with pictures? He educates. He educates people with pictures. He doesn't perform a whole lot of analysis. He's teaching his subscribers how to read body language better. I'm upset.
No, he doesn't do that. Right, there were like some bits that I like saved on my Miro board of the body language guy. He literally may have the worst YouTube video, YouTube channel on YouTube. Like, he has shit.
And yeah, the smile was.
So this is an example of like his content. He has an entire 2-hour live stream where he opens up pictures of Meghan Markle in Photoshop, and he'll draw little yellow lines. This is content, guys. This is content on YouTube, and it doesn't even do that badly. Okay?
That's good. The only thing is that reality. She is staring straight into the camera, and the reason why it's so upsetting, I talk about that in another video, is that we are not used to the person that we see on a photograph or a video, and they're being filmed from all angles. We're watching them like we're like omniscient spectators, like we are outside the action. Okay, they are in their universe and we are in this dimension. Let's say that is someone. I don't know if you can make that
so
from
bad.
that. I'm going to zoom in a bit more.
I don't know how you could even give this guy any credit based on his content at all.
Yes, that is the exact same of Zoom. Let me see what you let me see what you see at this point. Meanwhile, while you're at it, hit the like button. You know that hitting the like button is while I read your comments. Profile of the wrinkles on the forehead. And maybe that's the way.
Why would you do
can
this?
Be sure that the person
Why
is
would
raising
you?
their
Why would you watch this?
Their eyebrows. In this case, raising their eyebrows could be surprise. Okay, this the thing that the emotion that we usually associate with that facial expression.
How could you ever say this content has anything to it? Like, what did he say about him?
Anything. And you know what Jose does with pictures? He educates. He educates people with pictures. He doesn't perform a whole lot of analysis. He's teaching his subscribers how to read body language better. I'm upset that people like this, their main goal is to educate what's in peer-reviewed research with people with still pictures and getting attacked.
Yeah.
What?
That's a good point. Yeah,
that upsets me.
Yeah, and the guy's good. The guy's at the end of the day, the guy's good at what he does. So yeah, does he have a bone to pick with Meghan Markle? Fine, I don't care. I've said things when I did my initial analysis of Andrew Tate. It was just savagery. It was just me being pissed off at a man with messaging I despise. And then the next day, I was texting Rob, I was texting Chase, I was texting Eric, and the next day I did a live where I said, "Listen, guys, I feel like I came at this from a very unique, like just one direction, and it's not fair." So I presented other footage and tried to balance it out a little. But it has happened where. And there are cases I choose not to cover because I know that's going to happen. Eric, we've talked
Alex
about
Jones.
I purposely chose to not cover.
So he just admitted basically that he watched a video of Andrew Tate and it was completely driven by his own bias. He just outwardly admitted that.
Alex Jones, because I know that I'm compromised. I know that because of what a family member of mine has gone through, I cannot look at that case and not focus mostly on the negative. So I knew I wouldn't be able to do that one. So there are cases I sit out for that purpose.
Well, we've talked about one too. Was it Rydell or something like that? The girl who was found in her vehicle in the water.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. We both talked about that. It's like, yeah, there's just nothing there.
It's not that there's nothing there. It's that.
No, for us, like we don't see any good coming out of it.
I wasn't confident in my read. And that's another thing. And Eric, I'm going to talk about this now because you and I text about this a lot. My background is different from Chase's. And that difference is not something a lot of people think about. Chase gained his experience in interrogation rooms. In other words, he was put in a room with someone and he had to read that person. I gained my experience on stages where I have hundreds, sometimes thousands of people in front of me, and I'm a mentalist. I bring people up, and by the way, a lot of people confuse mentalist with like psychic or medium. It's not the same thing at all. Mentalists will openly tell you that we're using trickery, nonverbal communication, and psychology. But the bottom line is this. I have a crowd of people in front of me. I glance over them. I'm doing stuff. I'm looking at their reactions, and I get to choose who comes up next. I get to choose the person I'm going to work with. So yes, I get a lot of hits on stage where I say things, people go, "Oh my God, how does he know these things about me?" But I selected that person to be up there with me. So I have a pretty good ratio, but I'm selective. So there are certain cases I won't touch because I look at it, and Rodney was one of them. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not connecting. I'm not getting what I feel I should be getting. The panel did a great job with it. I watched it. I loved it. But yeah, so there are times that happens, but at least I try to actively avoid letting that happen. And I know it's the same with Chase. I know they try to do that as little as possible.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of this that we're seeing here is maybe I tend to profile people that I see. The number one first thing that I see is a person's level of self-control. Number one, can't like someone's insulting them. How do they respond to being insulted or criticized and all this? And we can have all the thoughts we want. Margaret Atwood, who's a famous author, had a great quote about this. She said, if we're all on trial for our own thoughts, we would all be hanged. All of us. And on the second half of this, I can think of another Margaret Atwood quote that perfectly describes some of this stuff when it comes to criticizing behavioral experts. Ignoring is not the same as ignorance. You have to work at it. That's the difference. You have to work hard to be to ignore the science, to ignore expertise and skill and the people who have spent their lives doing stuff like this. And I think Derek Van Schaik means well. I've seen a lot of his videos. I will still subscribe. I will not. Somebody told me to unsubscribe from his channel. I will still subscribe to his channel. I want all body language experts to thrive because I think when somebody wants to learn behavior skills, they're going to get it from as many sources as they possibly can. They're going to subscribe to all the channels and learn from anybody that they want to. And I think at the end of the day, the market is never wrong. The market, meaning the people who subscribe.
No! Capitalism moment. Woo!
Capitalism! We love capitalism! We love the free market! It's never wrong!
The free market is never wrong. It's never, ever, ever wrong.
On YouTube aren't stupid. Like if you have a garbage channel or you're acting like a fool, people are just going to unsubscribe to you. You will fire yourself from YouTube.
Wait, what? If you have a garbage channel,
Fool, people are just
or you're acting like a fool,
going to unsubscribe to you.
People are going to subscribe. What? I act like a fool, and people don't subscribe to me. So the market's never wrong, Chase. So how do you explain that? I want capitalism. Meritocracy.
Meritocracy. Meritocracy. Meritocracy. Meritocracy.
But I'm a woman, so I have it easier. Oh, shit. I have woman privilege. Privilege of a woman. Clearly, people only want to look at me, so... So what's he even trying to say?
Like if you have a garbage channel or you're acting like a fool, people are just going to unsubscribe. The market is never wrong. The market, meaning the people who subscribe on YouTube, aren't stupid. Like if you have a garbage channel or you're acting like a fool,
they could be stupid. Are you guys stupid?
People are just going to unsubscribe to you. You will fire yourself from YouTube. So just let the market make those decisions. We don't need to smash somebody's face in the dirt.
Right. The thing is, though, like the market clearly rewards pseudoscience. That's the point I make in my video. That the market rewards pseudoscience. That's why Lie to Me was such a successful show. Because the pseudoscience made it seem exciting. Guys!
And like make fun of someone. I know she's going to talk about me in a few minutes, regardless of what it is. I don't know who she is. I've never seen her in my life. She looks like a ton of fun.
Wait,
regardless
what's he saying about me?
I don't know who she is. I've never seen her in my life.
Is he talking
so
about
just
me?
Let the market make those decisions. We don't need to smash somebody's face in the dirt and like make fun of someone. I know she's going to talk about me in a few minutes, regardless of what it is. I don't know who she is. I've never seen her in my life. She looks like a ton of fun. I would much rather hang out with her than a lot of people.
Oh, Chase. Oh, that's so sweet. We can hang out as long as you don't get your behavior periodic table out. We can hang out. Most unexpected romance story of the internet ever. me and Chase gonna go on a date. I'm gonna chase Chase. Show me your periodic table of elements, Chase.
I've met in the last few months. But either way, she's making content. And it has nothing to do with me. And at the end of the day, I have to answer to what my kids and my grandkids are going to see me do on the internet to another human being.
Oh, he's got kids and grandkids. I don't think this is going to happen, guys. I'm not chasing the chase anymore.
And that's the ultimate thing. What legacy are you leaving of maturity and just setting an example for your own kids?
Well, I actually saved a quote up for this show, and I'm going to read it now before we go into it. I don't know if you guys have heard of this before. It's The Man in the Arena, and it's by Teddy Roosevelt. And I've always appreciated this because it's about critics.
Are we getting another poem right now?
He writes, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat."
I think I fell asleep then.
And I've always
all of those words just flew directly over my head.
appreciated that because I think there's a lot to be said about just doing it, just going out there and doing it, and putting forth the effort. And
I really appreciate Rob when it comes to this as well, because there are times where Rob and I will be talking and we'll say something and he'll go, "Oh yeah, this reminds me of this trial that I was doing and I saw this, I didn't know what it meant." So Rob is really filtering. Like, I know there are times where I'll say something and Rob will go, "Okay, well, I don't really see myself using that." But then there are times I'll say something and go, "Oh, that's interesting." And we expect people to filter. This is what a lot of people misunderstand why I present both sides of the argument a lot of times. Even if I think something, I'll present the opposite side because I expect the viewers to filter. If you told me that my viewers were taking my opinion and making it their opinion, that would make me super uncomfortable. I hate that idea. I want them to take my opinion. I want to present my opinion and say, here's why I think it is, given my experience, given my studies, this is what I'm seeing. And I want them to take that and go, "Oh yeah, you know what? I think I see that. I'm going to consider that." But at the end of the day, I also want them to go, "No, Rob and I did a video last week and we talked about Darrell Brooks with that Reddit post. And we both said, we think there's prior knowledge here based on our experience." I don't want people to look at that and go, "Yes, he knew about the Reddit post." I want people to look at it and go, "Actually, I disagree. I think it was news to him and here's why." Behavioral expert. I've never called myself a behavioral expert. But all it means, like all I think I have.
You've been calling him that or yourself that, Chase?
No, Chase is a behavioral expert. I'll call Chase a behavioral expert. The only thing that I think I have, there's two things I think I have more than the average person. One is that I've devoted a whole lot of time studying behavior, actually looking at the research, actually, taking the courses and putting in the time. But second, and I think this is the more important thing, night after night after night, I've gotten on stage in front of thousands of people. I brought people up on stage and I use what I know to read them and to tell them what I'm seeing and to have them go.
All of these people in an extremely specific environment, i.e. you've pulled them out of a audience on a night where they're, trying to have fun, trying to have a good time, and they're a bit nervous because they've just come on stage. Half of them are probably pissed, to be honest. They probably had a few drinks in the intermission. I would call that a very controlled environment. And yeah, you probably had some experience reading people in that environment, and maybe you learned something from it. But it doesn't mean that you can then apply that to YouTube videos of interviews of random celebrities and say that they're showing clusters of deception. I don't think that translates a single bit.
Oh my God, he's in my head. And they gave me awards for that. So I made a career of using nonverbal communication to do what we call cold reading in mentalism. Cold reading means I know nothing about the person. I've never met them. I know nothing. They walk in front of me and I have to start doing a reading on them right away. If nonverbal communication didn't exist, I'd be up shit's creek without a paddle. What would I do in that scenario?
By the way, that reminds me, and not to steal from them, one of the things I've always loved about the behavior panel is the different angles. So you're talking about a very specific different angle that is unique to you. And that's part of what attracted me to try to reach out to you and meet you. Same way as Mark Bowden is very different than the other three in the behavior panel because Mark
Bowden is so fucking annoying. I'm sorry. I'm doing a little bit of ad hominem right now. Come at me, bro. I'm going to do some ad hominem. Mark Bowden. It's fucking annoying.
Bowden is a master at projecting body language and presentation and pushing it out. Now, obviously, he can read it well too, but I feel like he has the unique experience on how to conduct oneself, and he's invaluable. Like when you.
That's not a ladder to get on the shelf behind him. That's actually, it's like one of those bunk beds. Did anyone have one of those kind of beds when they were a kid where they had a bed at the top, and then they had like their desk underneath, and then like a wardrobe or like a chest of drawers? That's actually his bed up there, and he still lives in his mom's basement, bitch.
You guys did Prince Andrew. I think that your video on Prince Andrew, and Chase, you can correct me if I'm wrong, would have been far inferior than it was without Mark Bowden.
100% agree. And the cool thing I like about the panel is when we disagree, it makes me nervous. Like while we're recording and
actually, there's something I have to show you. It's the behavior panel's course. Let's see if I can find it. Bodylanguagetactics.com. So, no, wait, no, it's not that one. Behavior panel course. This thing is cringe. I need to find the video of it. I'll do that while this is playing.
somebody says, well, I don't completely agree with that, I'll maintain a straight face, but I'm like, oh shit, what did I say? What did I do? But even throughout the whole thing, I want there to be disagreement and some kind of thing not to really match up.
Today we're going to do
even as we're talking about here, I can't keep my eyes off of this chat over here. I don't know how you guys do this. Like I want to read it all and I can't stop myself from reading it.
Well, that's one of the coolest things that. So I just want to make 2 points. One is that while I was watching Derek there, like I kept thinking in my head, Objection Foundation. If you haven't watched a video of someone actually doing analysis, don't criticize their analysis, because you can't look at the result and criticize how they got there, because you don't know how they got there because you didn't watch the video.
And based on their background, based on the background of their
you look at a conclusion and you're working your way back, and you're doing the exact same thing that you are accusing these other people of doing, of looking at a photo and then saying that this is how they reached the determination. You haven't watched the video of how they got there, so don't criticize.
Yeah, you didn't even know the guy, right? So there was two people. You're right. There were two people that he mentioned: the behavior panel. Then he trashed them. Never watched their videos, but to trash. And then Jesus, the body language guy. You're right, Rob. And he went right to it. And he said, I don't even know the guy, never heard of him. And then he just made all these judgments.
Yeah. And then the second part is basically echoing what Chase and Spidey had said. There's a way to actually engage and critique. And one of the coolest ways that you do it, or the coolest ways that I've seen people do it, and this is a recommendation to anyone in the chat who's ever watching these videos, ask a question. Well, what about this? Or did you see this? Or do you have an opinion here? Express your opinion that might be different than theirs in the form of a question. And you would be surprised because you'll actually begin a dialogue. And then you might actually learn that they did consider the position that you had. They then work their way around it. I mean, what's cool about when I get to film with Spidey is all of the stuff that we leave on the cutting room floor, the disagreements that you guys don't see behind, where Spidey will reach a conclusion and I'll sit there and say, I don't see it. And you don't see it because it's not part of the analysis that we produce and send to you, but it's there.
I enjoy putting it all on the floor. Like I'm watching the thing and he says he doesn't know who the behavior panel is. I was upset by that. Like I thought I would love for him to know who we are. You know, he's a famous YouTuber. He's got a bunch of subscribers and stuff. I wanted him to know who we are. That would make me feel cool, at least. But maybe that was the intent. Maybe
when Bay is upset.
That was the point of saying something like that. But when it comes down to body language, you can flip to the end of the DSM, this Diagnostic Manual of Psychology. It's a big purple book. It's too far away from my chair right now. You can go to this giant red book I was holding up earlier. It's got 1,000 references in the back of it. Then you go to a book like this. This is a book by John Truby called The Anatomy of Story.
Oh, great. We've got another
and it
book,
tells you
guys.
how to write a compelling story. It's the golden standard in Hollywood. Netflix uses it for every single show they produce. Apple TV uses this for every single show. This is how they write story. But you flip to the back of this, there's no references. It's just an index. Where are the peer-reviewed studies here?
Yeah.
Where are the peer-reviewed studies to show that this is the book you're supposed to write stories with? Every single Hollywood producer and show producer uses this. So
what's his point?
What we're saying is this is just BS because it doesn't have a bunch of studies in the back of it. Maybe so. I certainly hope not.
Okay, there is one thing that I point out in my video where I said I bought Joe Navarro's book, I read through it, and I did say in my video that he does cite studies in his book. But then I also pointed out that citing singular studies in this area of science basically means nothing because they're all so fucking restricted that they could not ever possibly represent humankind. So, what's the point that you're making there, Chase? It doesn't matter whether it's got studies cited in that book or not, because it still wouldn't really mean anything. And like, so Hollywood uses this book to, say how actors are supposed to put their body language across on screen? Is that what that book's supposed to do? What is that book?
Uses this for every...
John Truby. Did he say the title of the book?
Every single show. This is how they write story. But you flip to the back of this, there's no references. It's just an index. Where are the peer...
Did he say
This is a book by John Truby called
The Anatomy of Story. What's the point that he's trying to make? 22 steps to becoming a master storyteller. So like... has that book got anything to do with body language at all? It's a Bible for screenwriters. Like, that book's got nothing to do with body language. So why... Is he just doing a whole, like, appeal to authority thing there? Because, like, a big famous screenwriter wrote that book. That means that because there's no studies in the back and it was just written by... Oops! Because it was just written by a big famous screenwriter, therefore there's no reason to, like, believe that anything that he's saying. Is that the point that he's making?
Anatomy of Story. And it tells you how to write a compelling story. It's the golden standard in Hollywood. Netflix uses it for every single show they produce. Apple TV uses this for every single show. This is how they write story. But you flip to the back of this, there's no references. It's just an index. Where are the peer-reviewed studies here? Where are the peer-reviewed studies to show that this is the book you're supposed to write stories with? Every single Hollywood producer and show producer uses this. So what we're saying is this is just BS because it doesn't have a bunch of studies in the back of it. Maybe so. I certainly hope not, because this is the gold standard. You know why? Because people prioritize results over citations. So results are more important. And I'll give you an example.
Right.
If you go to, let's say...
are your results, Chase? You've never proven what your results are.
You're looking outside tonight and you're like, you know, I think we'll have sushi. I'm going to go eat sushi. The things that a sushi chef gives you could literally kill you, could take your life. So when things are important, we automatically default to skill and experience, not credentials. And if you're eating raw fish, your comfort in eating that fish rests in the experience level of the chef, not the credentials of the chef. And I'll just wrap that little up with a little bow. And nobody wants to be a surgeon's first patient because the credentials are not as important as the experience.
I was just thinking that maybe that study is all of Hollywood right now.
Is what?
Technically, John Truby's study is being done in the field. So it's like come back in 50 years and then say, yeah, all these principles that were written out here, you can see used over this time. Sometimes you're proving things in progress. I'm going to throw an author out myself before we get started again. Jonathan Haidt talked about the happiness hypothesis. And essentially what he did in that book is he took all this ancient wisdom, all the different religions and quotes throughout time. Then he went to pop science and brain scans where they found all of these things matching all this ancient wisdom that could never be proven before by machines and things that are scanning now. It's definitely an interesting read.
Really strong contrast there for me, because if you don't know who Chase Hughes and Greg Hartley are, how much of a body language expert can you really be? I mean, if you can't go too far in the field without reading a Hartley book.
Well, he said he doesn't watch any of them. He's the
Forget watching. You can't get too far in the field without coming across a Hartley book or a Hughes book.
Oh.
I mean, Chase wrote the best-selling book on body language in the world, and Hartley has like 10 of them out there, all of which are enormously successful. So where did you get your information? Like, how did you study body language? Like, I get that, experience is worth more. I don't know what his experience is. Honestly, I don't know what Derek's experience is. But if you research the field, because, learning from the experts is a big part of it. How far can you?
So body language experts work in both science and the arts. That's why it's so complicated. That's why it's so perfectly vague that nobody ever really fucking knows what they're talking about.
Go in studying body language without coming across Hartley or Hughes or Rouse or Bowden? Like, how do you? I don't understand how somebody can be an expert or feel like they're qualified in body language without knowing who Greg Hartley is. That makes sense.
How dare they?
Rob, I'm going to borrow you to pull stuff up. That this is his experience before he started doing body language, and it's in the private chat.
I'm going to have to dip in a minute.
Oh, okay.
But before we continue, there are entire YouTube channels out there, full channels dedicated to proving to you that the Earth is flat.
True.
It doesn't bother you because it's not an emotional point for you. This shouldn't bother you. If you hate body language, the behavior panel shouldn't bother you. You should not give anything, even if.
So he's comparing the entirety of body language YouTube to flat earthers. It's basically like saying it's the same thing. And if you don't believe in it, then you should just ignore it. My point is that bad body language analysis, it's not something you can just ignore because it doesn't. The bit that I get to, this is why the fucking video is 90 minutes long, because I'm trying to explain why it affects people so negatively as like a global issue. But you didn't watch it, so, you're not going to respond to that. But the thing is, even with Flat Earth, yeah, it seems like Flat Earth conspiracy seems like just this sort of stupid, arbitrary conspiracy that's not really affecting anyone. It sounds silly, but the thing is, even Flat Earth conspiracy overlaps with some really dangerous shit. I'm assuming a few people here probably have seen the Folding Ideas video on Flat Earth, and it very much crosses over with QAnon and anti-Semitism a lot, like a lot of conspiracy theories do. Yes, exactly. So it's even if it sounds fucking stupid, it's there's always some really shady shit going on underneath. Yeah, they always eventually get to the end point where it's it's the Jews' fault. They get to the Kanye West conclusion, all of them do, eventually. Anyway.
If you hate me, I don't deserve your permission to invade your head and piss you off. I don't deserve that permission. I don't even know you. Don't give any of this permission. There's full channels out there. The Earth is flat. There's alien lizard human beings that are probably your next door neighbor all over YouTube. That shouldn't, and it probably doesn't upset you because it's absurd. And I think this is something similar that doesn't deserve much of a place in your head. I'll be a subscriber to her channel. I have no ego about any of this. I have no emotion about this. I hope you don't either. And I hope this doesn't upset you. So don't let it. Don't give it permission to live in your head. I don't have permission to live in your head. I don't have permission to piss you off. That's up to you.
Yeah.
I love you.
All right, before we get into that, there's another moment we got to share here.
He was mic drop. He was trying to leave dramatic.
I know he was, but
I'm not trying to leave yet. No.
Chase is going to subscribe to me. Oh. Love you, Chase.
I messed it all up.
All right. Well, I'm skipping ahead a
Let
little.
everyone know in the comments below. She could have called out that I actually said
Look who's on the screen.
Jeffrey Dahmer's name as Jeffrey Dahmer in that video.
That's us.
Embarrassing.
I know. That's why I pulled it.
But she didn't. So thank you, Munecat.
I'm going to leave a link to the video that I made about ways to avoid gaslighting and manipulation, the tools that gaslighters use, and how you can counter those tools. Very important stuff. All in the description.
Oh, Spidey, this guy. And that guy is, I don't know, some other guy.
Love it.
He used to be a magician, an actual magician on America's Got Talent. And
Chase was not amused by that.
and would do
I've
card
never been on America's
tricks
Got
and
Talent.
some of these kind of deceptive things that are just kind of stupid.
I don't know, some other
Apparently, he
guy,
didn't go
just
too
the
far in
number
America's
one
Got
body
Talent,
language
and then
expert
he
in the
used
world.
apparent tricks and
No, hold on. What is he saying? What is he saying?
America's Got
Because like
Oh, you
he
gotta
gave
have
one
Spidey's
credit,
moment here.
and it was wrong. Like I've done a lot of TV, but America's Got Talent isn't one of them. So he gave one credit about like it would take.
You
a
weren't
Google
on
search.
AGT.
Huh?
You weren't on AGT, were you?
That's his point. Yeah.
No, I was on Canada's Got Talent, Penn and Teller Fool Us, Showtime at the Apollo. I've done a lot of TV, but AGT wasn't one of them. So,
hold on, we'll go through.
It matters. It matters, Spidey. It definitely matters.
A whole bunch of these kind of deceptive things that are just kind of stupid. Apparently, he didn't go too far in America's Got Talent.
And that I was never on it.
Channel, and I remember stumbling upon some of his card tricks. And I remember looking at his card tricks and just the way he was presenting it. And I was like, you kind of cringe. And, oh, guy, you got to have a lot more improvement. I can't believe you were on America's Got Talent. Apparently, he changed his channel name, apparently.
He's really
to now
butthurt about that.
What is he saying?
And now he, like, does deception detection, which he just... I don't know, just calling out bullshit that he just sees. I don't know. It's just so funny. This is a little bit of my little fuck you
Okay,
to
hold on,
the
pause,
body
pause, pause,
language
pause, pause.
community.
I just want to lay down the facts. Every single thing he said about my experience is incorrect. He goes, he didn't get too far in AGT. Yeah, in that I wasn't there. 2, he goes, he changed the channel name. It's a different channel. 3, my card tricks are cringe. Okay, sure. I mean, okay.
It's
like,
okay,
I wanna drop
Spidey.
rank.
It's okay, Spidey. He called me cringe too. It's all right.
But like in terms of success as a performer, I'm at the top of my game. Like in terms of corporate shows, college shows, like what I do out there, I have awards for my performances. I have awards for my instructional products that
There's no need.
Hey, Spidey. Remember, I said there were 3 ways you can respond to videos like this.
Yeah.
You can either go back and intelligently rebut them, you can dismiss and ignore them, or you can laugh at them. We have now reached the laughing at them category. So you going and trying to rebut everything he's saying. There's no point.
That's why it's actually, Spidey. That's part of why I like it. It's because it's so completely off that he's no longer relevant. I mean, every single fact that he just stated is completely off. So you kind of are like, okay, so he's full of shit. There's nothing to see here.
Objection foundation.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. You can look at my card tricks and think they're cringe. I'm just saying like it's different to say I think it's cringe. Like I don't like this guy's card magic.
Sure.
You have to be able to separate that from the fact that as a magician and mentalist, like I'm quite accomplished. You know what I mean? So you might think it's cringe, but enough people don't that I've made a pretty successful career out of it. So, and that's, you know, I would recognize that. Like if I looked at someone and I said, I don't like this, but obviously enough people do.
No,
I
he's
think
mad that people are playing with his toys in the sandbox.
Well, you know what? There is a reason. There is an internal, this is inarguable. There's an internal reason inside this person that he feels the need to do this kind of hammer thing and push other people down. And that is some kind of suffering that we have no idea what it is, but it has nothing to do with anybody else.
He definitely wanted to be on America's Got Talent and only managed to get on Canada's Got Talent.
We can see the behavioral pattern of him doing this in one video to multiple people. And that's all we're seeing. We're seeing a person just reacting off of how they're feeling in the moment or feeling threatened, vulnerable, insecure.
Spidey seething.
I won't even claim to know. I have no clue. But
Yeah, and
something's
you know who
going on
doesn't think my card tricks are shit? Shin Lim. You want to know who that is? Go to Vegas, get off the plane, and look up.
I'm fucking loving this body language beef. Oh man.
Yep. Or just Google best magician in the world.
In the freaking world.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. You want to talk about getting far in AGT? He's the only person who's won AGT twice. He won AGT, then he won AGT Champions. And he doesn't think my card tricks are cringe. We've gone on every channel several times. We're good friends. We go way back. So
I even have the extreme, unbelievable privilege to randomly, with no notification, FaceTime Spidey and say, hey, I'm with like 10 friends. Can you do a couple of tricks? And on occasion, randomly, Spidey will actually do it. And I'll put it on like the iPad so everybody can see it. And it is just like, I cease being anybody that's important to anyone. And Spidey is like instantly on the iPad, the life of the party. Everybody loves it. So there's no cringe involved whatsoever.
listen, there could be, I mean, it's
Anybody
easy, right? You can look at my performance and go, I don't like this. But as long as I have a standing ovation from Teller on national television,
Oh,
and
shit.
friends like Shin Lim, who will tell you that I'm the best at what I do, I don't think Derek's opinion
I
when
give
it comes
you a
to
standing
magic
ovation.
is that valuable. I mean, did he go from being a
You're
body,
not
did he do
cringe,
the opposite that I
Spidey.
did? Did he go from being a body language expert to a magic expert? Well,
I think you're defending yourself as out of the league of
Not
of what was said.
cringe.
We saw a video that's out of competitive mindset, and you don't need to defend that. It was not a cooperative or collaborative mindset. It's a lower maturity. Granted, it could have been something that was going on for that person, but and I will forever be a subscriber.
Oh, Chase, you're above that. But actually, on that, because I know that we're getting tight on time, I've got some money that came in super chats, which I deeply, deeply appreciate.
I know it's Georgina. It's got to be Georgina.
Georgina is amazing.
That's
and
my
yes,
name.
Georgina's
What?
definitely in here.
I didn't.
Starting though with Madeline
I didn't super chat them.
Noskov, who sent a super sticker. Love your avatar there. Chase should as well.
Love it.
Brains are always cool. My cat's name is Karen. I love that name. Because all cats are kind of a Karen in a way if they're a female. They sort of are. Yeah, they want to talk to the manager. You're never on time.
Thanks, Karen's mom.
So thank you very much. And then yes, Georgina, a rock star. And I guess I don't know. Is that how she discovered me? Georgina's like one of the most reliable supporters out there. She's amazing with this channel, America's Untold Stories. Just amazing.
And the panel. She's always on the panel as well.
Amazing person.
I
agree, Georgina. I love the behavior panel. Learned so much watching them, have the books, have so much stuff on my mind. And I'm proud to say I even helped get Scott's book featured in Netflix in a screenshot because
famous shoulder.
Yes, while they were cutting me out, it perfectly framed Scott's book. It was a beautiful image. Let me see. So we got an expert here, Tiffany Bernier, Chase and Spidey.
Let me take a look.
A lot of face touching here.
Oh.
Not sure what's happening.
Me neither.
Georgina, wow.
Give us your analysis.
Chase, I agree. I call it failing up. I am learning. I find myself changing my own reactions and try not to judge someone without thinking what else could be true. Spidey, I love your openness, honesty, and great enthusiasm. By the way, Spidey, I was going to say something earlier when you were talking about that and how you're giving both sides of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the time, it's not only the other side, but it could be 10 minutes ago. And it might be 10 minutes in the future because it's like literally when we're looking at these things at this point in time, this seems to be the most likely, but if you ask again in a half an hour, it might change our mind. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah.
Georgina here has got money to throw at these guys. I promise you, it's not me. I swear.
Of course. I mean, new intel changes the opinion all the
She's
time.
got a lot.
Yeah. And you know what? I was doing a behavior panel video one time. I can't remember her name, but I called her like Ski Resort Barbie or something. Some girl that we were profiling there. And to this day, I think about that once a day and I regret it every single day. So like the stuff like you see on YouTube, Derek may regret this already. That's why I don't think he deserves any judgment for it. Every single human being here in the chat and tuning into the live have said all kinds of stuff you regret. It just wasn't recorded. I've said tons of stuff I regret that was recorded. Somebody said I was doing a lot of face touching. My lips are so chapped that I'm embarrassed about them on a live, and I tried to blur my camera before we started here. So that's the reason for my face touching. But I think we're human beings. Like we're here on Earth for such a short time, and we're just sit here and like bash some other human.
I think the amount of times that you touch your chapped lips, Chasey, that contributed to a cluster of deception. So not so sure about that.
Being on YouTube, I think that's ludicrous. It's ludicrous, and it's definitely not something I would want my children to see me doing. So I'm trying to teach them the opposite. I'm trying to live the opposite way. But we do have regrets. You know, we say regretful stuff on the internet. The woman that's made this video about us, I know I'm in there, apparently.
Watch it then.
She's
Watch
making
it.
good, probably really good content. This is like extremely well edited.
Chase fucking loves me.
Whether or not it's accurate or not, it doesn't matter to her subscribers.
Well, I'm going to invite her on, by the way. I'm going to invite her on. I've had Alder Bray on.
So he's going to invite me on, and he's saying he's had Aldert Bray on because he knows that we're basically on the same side here.
Yeah. And Aldert Bray is probably one of the most critical people in the world in terms of behavioral science.
There we go.
He's
having done some of the best research on it.
But he's a legit researcher. I mean, top of his game. But he's not as hard on that as he is on scan and statement analysis. And I'm going to probably try to put him with Peter Hyatt to have a debate because I talked to Evan Noam and Avi said no. But that would be really interesting because he's extremely critical of statement analysis and specifically scan. But it would be an interesting conversation to have that one out.
There's a lot of research on statement analysis.
There's research that showed that scan does increase the odds of catching a lie by James Driscoll.
James Pennebaker, I think.
I don't know. I mean, it is definitely used. It's taught to the FBI and everything else. So, okay. Georgina, Spidey, this isn't you. This is all about him. I agree.
That's not.
Those who have gotten to know you love you. I think I just understand how all the law community is fighting for Nate the lawyer now. Yeah. And that's a great analogy. Everybody loves Nate. I can't. Rob, can you confirm that? I mean, Nate's probably one of the most popular in LawTube out there.
Yeah, and it's not because we have to agree with every decision he makes. We disagree all the time. I love disagreeing with Nate. I love disagreeing with everybody. It's one of the coolest ways to actually have a discussion that means.
Georgina
It's
definitely
more fun to
doesn't
disagree
seem
with
like a real
Yeah, I totally
person.
agree. Yeah.
Like that profile picture looks like it came from one of those, like,
Gives me joy.
make a
Thank you
fake
for 13 months. Well,
person
thank you so much.
websites.
And this is really cool. A bunch of new members. CM Nelson, thank you very much. Jennifer Edwards, thank you very much. Crystal Pontac, thank you very much. And early on, Tina Nina, and I'm glad I could find that. It's Tia Nina. I think I said Tina Nina, and I didn't mean to. Tia Nina. I hate it when I get people's names wrong. And you should like that avatar.
Hey, Tia.
Spidey.
Oh, dope. Pocket aces.
Yeah. And the Siam Cat with 5 pounds. Thank you very much.
The
Jason, say
Siam
it again.
Cat. I just said it.
No, say it again. I'm talking over you.
The Siam Cat is here with us all. So thanks for joining us.
And Joe Ellen, who has Charlie.
There's lots of cat lovers on this stream.
Not give dollars, but subscribes to all 4. Rob
What is it with cat lovers that like body language analysis?
is her favorite.
Rob is my favorite too, by the way.
To be fair, if you have a cat, you do have to be good at reading the body language of cats if you have a cat, because then you can tell, like, when you're stroking them, when they're about to do the biting, when they've had enough. You need to be able to tell from the cat's body language. There's very much a Venn diagram crossover there, for sure.
Rob is the favorite of a lot of ladies. Actually, you know what? I'm cheating on this stream because I have Handsome Tan Daddy and Rob on the same stream. Actually, we should put them down together. And the Spidey, you and I just can. sit on
I've
this-
heard from 3 different websites that Rob's beard is actually pseudoscience and potentially fake.
Oh, this is what we said early on. We conspired that it was just for men or Sharpie.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I glue it on before every episode of everything.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I've heard that Rob stole his beard from Nick Arcada.
Oh, my evil twin.
All right. Well, on that happy note, with all the lumbering chat, everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. And hopefully we can continue to have the conversation and understand what body language actually is not.
It's fake.
I'm going to leave you with one thought.
Okay.
If body language is pseudoscience and there is no way to look at facial expressions to determine what someone is thinking or feeling, explain emojis and why they work.
You know what? Derek Von Shake brought that up in that video.
Oh, did he?
Oh,
recall.
the emoji. We've been through that. We went through this earlier on in the stream. Oh, fucking hell.
While
Which
Eric
is the
pulls
same
these-
point.
Well, I was going to say,
Oh.
while Eric pulls these last super chats, the piggyback on that one, if body language is pseudoscience and not important, then why is there a jury instruction in every single trial that requires witnesses to get, or requires jurors to gauge credibility and have the ultimate authority of believing or not believing the person that testified? Our
What was he saying? What?
entire foundation and legal system is built on believability of people.
There's also
Yeah, and that's why it's so fucked up, because people are going off their preconceptions of a person and then allowing their cognitive bias to decide. Lauren Lumber, Rob, what the fuck? Is it? What's the point he's making? What's the point that he's making here? This is bad. What the fuck?
Jurors to gauge credibility and have the ultimate authority.
What?
The piggyback on that one, if body language is pseudoscience and not important, then why is there a jury instruction in every single trial that requires witnesses to get, or requires jurors to gauge credibility and have the ultimate authority of believing or not believing the person that testified? Our entire foundation and
Based on what, Rob?
legal system is built on believability of people.
Based on evidence? Based on evidence, Rob? Or based on people's preconceptions based on body language?
There's also a Supreme Court case of Ohio versus Terry, which is all.
He's like barely said anything during this stream, but that... What? That's bad. No. What?
all about body language technically and movement and analysis. Hold on,
Crystal, I'm pulling up the mic just for you. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for tuning into the Eric Hunley podcast.
Oh, I love that DJ voice. You're doing the Chris Voss late night DJ. All right. On that happy note, thank you very much.
This
If
was
you guys
fun.
like what you're seeing, subscribe. You never know who's going to show up. There could be a Chase that comes in. There could be a Spidey. There could be a Rob. You never know who's going to be here. And thank you very much.
She puts my clip.
Wow, that was interesting, wasn't it? If body language is pseudoscience, then why do we tell juries to assess the credibility, like base their decisions on the credibility of the defendant? What? Based on what? Oh my God. My whole video was like what people base their decisions of credibility on, dude. Anyway, I was going to show you this. So they do grift a course, of course, the behavior panel, and they have a lovely promotional video that I'll leave you in while I just go and have a little bit of a piss. Okay.
So we came here
All
to
right.
put together the greatest analysts of behavior in the world. Did we do that?
What they taught here went way beyond what you would think that they do on the behavior panel.
So you have to practice your resting face. You have to find that one that's comfortable for you, that you can sit around the mall with, sit around your car with. You don't want to be sitting in the car and somebody pull up beside you and look over and go, and then go, oh.
So I think my expectations coming in was that I really wanted to just enhance my skills that I utilize as a therapist. Far surpassed that. I have so many tools from all of the panelists that now I can't wait to go back and implement.
They're really reaching out to us all on the same level, and we're pulling different things to take back to so many different industries.
The moment I can change context, I can get a person to do anything, and I mean anything.
Number one goal is suspend judgment. Unless you make that your number one goal, you won't do it. You will not do it instinctually. You will never do it by accident. It has to be your primary goal.
This stuff, guys, is powerful because it's not a language. It's an additive to how we speak to people.
I'm Mark. This is the Behavior Panel. These are the panelists, and thanks for coming to Behavior Panel Live!
This is truly thousands of dollars worth of data and education and time and energy that these 4 experts have put together for us.
I got into this because they...
So you can tell just from this promotional video that most of the largest, very much the largest section of their audience are women, you know.
Were teaching me the stuff that I wasn't learning at college. Their new program is really important to me, and I will use it for the rest of my life.
My expectations and also exceeded them. This has been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It feels like a transformational experience.
It was really interesting
And
to
I
see
just
that these
fucking love that they have big projected videos of Meghan Markle behind them on huge screens. That it's just fucking perfect.
4 individual guys with pretty different methods all seem to come together to the same general consensus. So it just opens my mind that there's just different ways to come to conclusions, and you can kind of pick what works for you.
Everyone has a different strength. Scott, like I said, he's the party planner, but he's also former music industry executive.
Party
so I
planner.
had a lot to talk to him about.
All psychopaths are narcissists, but not all narcissists are psychopaths.
I was surprised about everyone, and I'm really excited that I came.
Chase Hughes, he continually surprises me with the wealth of knowledge and information and new updates that he provides to his methodology.
So our focus automatically, whether you want it to or not, goes to 2 different things, and that's either a threat or value.
His thinking is unparalleled to anybody I've ever seen in my life.
Greg Hartley, I understood that he was really speaking a language that I could relate to the most, that I could understand, and I became much more comfortable just approaching him, asking questions.
But when you're talking fast and you slow down, it means something. When you're talking slow and you speed up, it means something. You hear me say all the time, listen to the cadence change in that person, it means something.
And getting some really heartfelt genuine, direct answers.
What I really love about Mark is that he really uses his personality, which we all have personalities, but he uses humor to engage the crowd, and it was great to watch him as a speaker.
He's
and a
literally the
facilitator.
worst.
Human beings, you wake up the next morning and you're different. Yeah, the calcium is up at different ends of
I recoil whenever I see this guy.
neurons that they weren't up before.
What I've got at this point is probably like a solid, 5 years worth of stuff to go and study.
Anyone that works with people can have some sort of value in this.
I thought when I came there would be more detectives here. I think this is law enforcement's missing the boat a little bit on not taking advantage of these tools. They're really, really good tools.
I just learned so much and actually got a physical experience out of it. So I have a whole new mindset after this weekend, so it's amazing.
We're behavioral nerds. We feed off of each other. We learn a lot from one another, and it's priceless.
They are
It's all an art, guys. It's just an art.
going to provide you world-class information that can truly impact the way you look at people and how you interact with your environment.
Who I think I would love to see at the behavior panel live for next year.
Everybody needs to get out here at least once. It's a game changer, and I think if you want...
I suppose, like, it is a kind of art. It's an art in how to translate your personal bias into something that sounds like science. You could say that it's an art in that sense, I suppose.
Want to improve yourself and help improve the lives of others in your circle and outside your circle, you need to get here.
Anybody that wants to learn how to talk to somebody, anybody that wants to better themselves, anybody that wants to really figure out the real deal of being able to get along with people and talk to people on an authentic level. And
anyway, enough of that.